Hello everyone, and welcome to another live stream with me, 320 Sim Pilot. And today we are going to take our ToLiss Airbus A321 from here in Edinburgh, where we last left it, although I think one stand over, and we're going to take it down to Frankfurt. So a bit of a longer flight today, but relatively straightforward sort of thing to be doing. And I've set it to dawn because I said last time that we've done a fair few we've done a couple of night flights now, so I thought it might be nice to take off on a gloomy morning and head off into the sunrise, which is one of my favourite times to be flying. Definitely, I do really enjoy it. Thank you all for joining us today. Sorry if I have been a little bit late on the start today. We had a few technical issues back like the good old days, which a lot of you from the early streams in summer will remember plenty of those. But good to say hello to Bao Mao. Good to see you again here. Yeah, the timeline on the videos lately, they might seem quite crowded together, but you'll probably notice I go through waves of having a few days where I can do some videos, so I try and get them done, and then there's sometimes some longer gaps where I can't. But hello to Swappy S, good to see you. Richard V, thanks for coming and moderating today. Great to see you guys back. Liz05, of course, and plenty of names I recognise. Yes, Papa, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. And we got Alexander Beck, good to see you. SB, lots of classic names here from the all the different days on the channel. Oh, and a donation from Swappy S, very kind. Thank you very much, which was rupees, I believe. I believe I got it wrong last time. I'm doing very well, Swappy. Thank you very much for your donation. It's really appreciated, and thank you for your support over the whole time the channel's been going, really. So, Mr. Espresso, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Massimo Della Penna, hello. Nice to see you again. Darian, Jan, first time live on the channel. Well, I hope you enjoy it. I hope you've enjoyed the videos on the channel so far. As I've been promising a taxi tutorial, I can say to you guys here now, that is pretty much ready to go. So that'll be up on the channel over the next few days, I'm hoping. Right. Again, Swappy, thank you very much for that. That's very kind. Yes, rupees. Yes, I thought so. Yeah, because I remember getting it wrong last time. So yeah, greatly appreciated. Right, let's get ourselves going. So with the technical issues, I'd hoped to have this plane set up and ready to go for you guys. Sadly, I have not managed that. So it's sort of a very minor part to set up. Let's have a look. So I'm aligning the IRSs. You'll see what a mess this is. We'll put the ground control switch on. That means the voice recorder works even when you're on the ground before the engines are running. That's in a line. That's all looking pretty good. Let's get the no smoking lights to auto, seatbelt lights on because we've fueled, and the emergency exit lights armed. And I think we'll get the APU running. These days with coronavirus, it's good to have as much air as you can get going through the cabin. That's something that it seems to be of big benefit according to all the research. So we'll get that up and running. And I am using the ToLiss version 1.1. So there is a video on my channel out about it. And minor update, I would say. What's that thing that all the tech reviewers use? Evolutionary, not revolutionary. But that's only because the ToLiss was already so well done. I'm going to be using the default sounds as well. We're not using the BSS sound pack today. So yeah, something slightly different. So let me know what you guys think of the audio, whether you prefer the BSS or this. I haven't really made up my mind yet, but I haven't had much time with it. Batteries are already on and checked. Obviously the APU starting. We've done our fire tests as well, but we would run these at this point pretty much. I'm not using the full X checklist today because I hadn't intended to do a sort of cold and dark setup. That's still planned to be the next or a video soon on the channel in the Microsoft Flight Simulator Neo. So if anyone here is looking for Flight Simulator Neo videos, they are on the channel. There will be more coming as the mod improves it. But yeah, this is where we are today. Oh, let's get those FO screens nice and bright. So that's all aligning. And what I have done, because I always say I try to avoid showing you guys me slowly typing in routes, but I had it all set up, but I had, like I say, some issues. So here we go. We've done our init or data. We're on 2011. I think that's the right one now. We saw earlier that my 757 isn't up to date. I need to get that sorted. Init A, we're going to be the Manta A321 today from Edinburgh to Frankfurt. About 1 hour 40 flight time we're expecting. So a bit of a longer one. Cruising at flight level 350. Zurich is the alternate. So that's all pretty reasonable. Flight plan page. It's just what I was working on. So we are down at Biggin. So as you can see, I didn't even get past leaving the UK. So let's just finish this one off with from Biggin. We're going to take the upper Lima 9. And this route is available. Hopefully the Streamlabs bot is awake. It does take some time occasionally. Let me just see if that's working. It should be working, so the bot should be able to give you the route if you would like that. But yeah, Upper Lima 9 to Conan. This is very classic sort of routing over Europe. Then Upper Lima 607, which we're going to take to Sierra Papa India. And once we get underway, we'll talk a little bit about why we're going to Frankfurt today. Oh, Sierra Papa India, Tango 180. What am I doing? Tango 180. Right, so if any of you are trying to take the route from the CloudBot, I think I've typed that in wrong there, because I thought I wrote it down. I thought that can't be right. Unoko. Oh dear. Okay, you can see why I try to avoid doing this in front of you guys. There we go, insert. And then we'll do the arrival when we get there, because Frankfurt has so many runways and arrivals, it's hopeless. We will be on VATSIM today, so we have, I think, a colleague next door in Delta Lima Hotel, so Lufthansa's 965. So let me know if you're in the chat. I haven't looked up on VATSpy or my VATSIM map, which who is joining us today. Ladbound, you're very welcome for the videos. I hope you enjoy them. Tim James would like to ask about auto trim. Okay, yep, cool. We'll talk about en route. Do remind me again later though, because I will forget, I'm sure. And GWD Productions. Followed for a long time. Thank you very much for following, and thanks for your support and interest in the channel. From an F104 pilot, wow, amazing. That is an amazing airplane. I never understand how it flew, but it's an amazing looking thing. Yeah, fantastic. Right, let us go to flight plan, secondary flight plan. Well, obviously we're going to copy the active, and realistically we're not going to go past GoSam, so I'm just going to have a return back into Edinburgh in here. This is quite common for people to do. I don't always do it, because in my mind I would probably find it easier to reconstruct the primary flight plan than have a secondary one, but some people will set up the secondary very carefully, and ToLiss have put a bit of effort into making this more complete now than it used to be. It's one of the things. We'll talk about some other things that they worked on throughout the flights. Let's have a look. Right, let's just stick in some weather. So what you can do is, now I've got an arrival and an ILS back into Edinburgh, I can just plonk in the weather. And the theory is that's now ready to go, so that would be quite a quick way to set up the FMGC if you had to do an immediate return. But as I said before, we don't tend to rush things like that, so yeah, unlikely. I'd probably end up using the primary, I think, but there we go. Okay, so those are aligning. Let's get the QNH sets as well. So that is 1001, which I can plonk in here. Now here's an interesting thing. In Microsoft Flight Simulator, I'm constantly having to change this from QNH to QFE. As far as I'm aware, there's no way to set it to... you can do inches and hectopascals, but there's no way to set it between QFE and QNH. It's always QNH. If you need QFE, you have to convert it yourself. So I'm not sure why that's in there as it is. But yeah, something that I'm constantly confused by. Right, let's get these screens a bit brighter. There you go, Streamlabs has woken up, so that's good to know. Excellent, yeah. Although it seems to, I'm pretty sure I should change my command, because I think my command, Streamlabs comment that it types in there seems to then activate the other commands on its own. I'm not sure if that's possible, but it looks like it does. Okay, we're going to fly the GoSam departure. Let's bring this up full size for you guys. No good looking at it like that. So planning straight out, 4.5 over the uniform whiskey. We need to be above 2,300 feet and below 6,000 feet. So if I go flight plan, uniform whiskey, and then out via these waypoints, we know that the E and J should match up with either 9 or 10 and 14, and then out to Mavics. Looks like 6,000 feet is the stop altitude. Do not climb above 6,000 until instructed by traffic control. So let's put 5.9 in until we get our clearance from air traffic control. But yeah, pretty reasonable. If we have any problems, we'll just make a right turn back round over the water to come back in from the north. We are parked up on stand 8, which is there, expecting a 2-4 departure given the weather. Now, I believe we've got air traffic control for this one, which is pretty good. Ian Delore says, haven't been on live stream for a while, subbed on the videos from Microsoft Flight Simulator. Well, thank you for joining us today. Yeah, the Flight Simulator videos have been very popular. But explains where it all started, and so today we're going to take it back to where my first live stream was from, which was which, as you can guess, was from Frankfurt. Right, while we're waiting for those to align, let's stick in some init B. This is all out of sequence now. And I do apologise. I did have this all done before I had to reset. So 68.5, 27.5. So that is our 0 fuel weight and our 0 fuel weight CG. Our block fuel, 10 tons. And that gives us takeoff weight, 78.3. Pretty reasonable. Thank you for the subscription to Michael PH. Thank you very much. I hope you're enjoying the stream. Right, so performance then. We're going to go still for flap 1. I've seen some talk that maybe with the new update, we've always said on this channel, the flap 2 and flap 3 speeds are too high. And I think, judging by this, they still are. I mean, look at that. So for between flap 1, I'm doing a rotate and a climb at 163. Flap 2, 162. I mean, no way. I know it might work technically, but that's just not what I've ever seen the real aircraft do. I'm still confused by these numbers. So we do have a split because it's quite a heavy takeoff for Edinburgh. So 152, 160, 163, and flex temp, should have put that in already, 36. So a high thrust takeoff as well. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Right, that's the MCDU setup. APU's up and running. Let's get the bleed air on for the passengers. Swap over to that. They should be on auto, ready to go, and the nav light should be on. There we are. Right, so we're just waiting for those to align now. Altitude discrepancy. Why has it done that? I thought I'd told it. I'm having to fiddle with all these settings again because they all seem to reset. Sync power settings. Thank you very much. There we go. That's strange. I thought I had changed that one. Turtle Kayak, hello. Hope you're doing well. Michael, literally sitting taking notes. Well, I don't know how useful they'll be, but yeah. And more subscriptions. Alexander Pisuto and Alexander Beck. Thank you very much. Alexander Beck, I think, has been on the channel for a little while now. So thank you for subscribing. Right. Just seeing if there's any questions. The QFE thing is double daft because when you toggle it, it doesn't change for the indicator. Actually, no, I know, Dave. It's yeah. There's no way to set a QFE. I mean, yeah, very strange. Right. Oh yeah, align in 0 minutes, align FMC. So on the older aircraft, you do have to actually go in and do it. The new ones, it does it on the GPS. Thanks for that. Good spot. There we go. Right. Time to tune up some ATC. So let's see. Let's see. We've got, what have we got? Oh, they have got an ATIS. But let's try and get away with ground 12175. Ah, these panels. No one turns these panels off. You'll never see that. 12175. So many things we do the checklist of what needs to be powered down. Things like the ADIs, they have to be. And then lots of this stuff just gets powered down when the airplane does. Right. That's ready to go for our squawk.
Sentinel Station, Edinburgh broadcast. All stations are cushioned. All Edinburgh ATC is now closing.
Oh.
No surface services. Monitor Unicom 122 decimal 8. I say again, monitor Unicom 122 decimal 8.
There we go. That's the end of that then. So we're going to get ourselves there. So in this case, we are cleared up to 6,000 feet. Fantastic. We're going to squawk 2,000 until we get given another one, I suppose. And shortly we'll go and push and head north. Just transmit that on Unicom. Right. Where are we sitting then? I don't know why the doors are armed as well. This used to be tied in with the beacon, I thought. But the beacon's off. But they seem to still be armed. So, yeah, I'm not sure if that changed in the latest update. Right. Let's get rid of the ground power. Close up the doors. Just in case they're open. And external power can go. Always very careful with that because that's an embarrassing moment when it goes dark. And it will happen to everyone at some point. Either the APU won't have been up and running properly or the ground power will drop out because it wasn't quite working as well as it should. Because you've got no real way to tell if it's working very well unless it's on. So sometimes it does just drop out and then you get sat there in the dark, which is very embarrassing. Right. I think we are getting there. let's get rid of some of this ground equipment. Because we've got a bit of a longer flight today. So we want to get underway. And the sun is still rising. Jan says, is anyone also experiencing problems with the autopilot in Flight Simulator 2020?
Pushing back and starting from stand 3.
Someone's pushing from stand 3, cool. Yeah, the autopilot in Flight Simulator has many issues. There goes the stairs, excellent. Right, let's get the better pushback. And we have our colleague next to us. So what would air traffic do in this sort of situation? I think they just make somebody wait, I'm afraid. So let's do that, because there's 2 ways out of the apron. I suppose I could push and then pull forward. Is that possible to do in this? If I did that and that? Let's try that.
Ground to cockpit. Plan acknowledged. Call me through the menu when you're ready.
Right. What's going on with that weather? Why is it saying negative and why is it climbing? Very odd. There we go. That seems to be settling down. Right. Right, what have I missed then? Let's have a look. I'm just going to run the checklist, I think. We've got that set up. Looking good. Yeah, that'll be on flight plan. This will be on performance. There we go. Passengers all on. Fuel's all on. We got our 10 tons just under. You're going to check that it is balanced left and right. Even if it's not, there is a limit on what it can be. It's a couple of 100 kilos for takeoff. It doesn't matter in flight. It will warn you about an imbalance, but the airplane can fly even if one's full and one's empty. It's quite amazing, really. Okay, let's say we're pushing then. And let's get that right. Edinburgh ground, Manta A321 pushing from stand 8 onto Foxtrot to face northeast, and then we'll be pulling forward to clear stand 7. Good. Let's go. Put the beacon on. Check the thrust levers are idle. Is everything closed? Yes, it is. Right. Cockpit prep's completed. Gear pins and covers removed. Signs are on an auto. ADIs are in nav. Thanks to you guys. Fuel quantity, we've got 10 tons and balanced. Takeoff data is set. Barrow ref of 1001 is set. Windows and doors closed. Beacon is on. Mobile phones off, it says here. Thrust levers idle. Parking brake is set. Okay. Right.
Ground to cockpit. Tow is driving up.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I should have actually attached him as well. Right, let's go to them. Here comes our tug. Hello to Jansen Car. Hope you're doing well. Oh, sorry, I might be slightly delayed. I'm looking at 2 different chat windows, which keeps messing it up.
Yankee is fully established. ILS runway 24, 9 miles.
Corrosive Moon, hope you're doing well. Corrosive Moon, a long-time Discord member and community contributor, I should say. Henrik, hello. Hope you're doing well as well. No, the autopilot is causing all sorts of problems. Yeah, the altimeter did seem a bit confused there, didn't it? Very odd. I should have listened to where that person was taxiing. Hopefully they're not taxiing to Foxtrot.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
Okay, they're connecting downstairs. Good stuff. There's a nose registering disconnect memo. Very important. That's why I'm a little surprised this checklist doesn't have that one included. That's a pretty standard thing to want to look for. Raz3 Raid, hello. Hope you're doing well. Right, they're lifting us up. Beaming away. I'm sure they've changed the default head position as well in this new update. Because now if I go... I'm not sure. Not sure. It felt slightly higher up.
Release parking brake.
Okay, brakes released. Off we go. Successful early morning departure.
And you may start engines.
He says. Right, let's start up the engines then. Now they changed this, which I talk about a little bit in my video. They said they've changed the timings to be a bit more representative I think they're still slightly too quick on the IAE model. But there we go, master switch on, start the timer. So, N2 spinning. And it can motor for, you know, a good 45 seconds before it does anything. So we shall see. I reckon, as I've said before, it should be about 1 minute 30 for a full startup. And here we go. I think this is the bit for me that happens a bit too quickly. It doesn't accelerate that fast on the real aircraft. I don't think anyway.
Ground traffic, runway Juliet 95 taxiing to runway 24 via
There it is.
Echo
51
Alpha
seconds.
200.01,
Starting engine 1.
Alpha 14 for the passing Airbus A321.
2175. Apparently there is Edinburgh ground. So we're back with Edinburgh ground. Let's see if we can get hold of anyone here. Have I done that engine start properly? Yeah, it seems to be going right. Edinburgh ground, hello, Manta 232. We've just pushed from stand 8. Oh, that's pretty fast pull. Manta 232.
Manta 232, end of ground, you ready to copy clearance?
Stand by, we'll call you shortly.
Gotcha.
Thank you for the subscription to Cute Disco Cats. Right, that's available. I'm not going to take clearance now because I'm particularly worried about getting rid of the ground crew and not either bending the airplane or running somebody over with the airplane.
957, are you on my frequency?
So it brings to a stop.
Yeah, copy that, Romeo Juliet 957.
Operation complete.
Richard 957, you ready to copy clearance?
Heart brake on. They can go.
Disconnecting tow.
Engines have started. Back to
Romeo
norm.
Juliet 097.
That can go. That can go.
To Frankfurt.
And we are CG 28.6.
957, you cleared you for that?
It was the last Edinburgh ground. He disconnected.
Yeah, there's been a few
Right,
controllers.
I just need you to squawk 7615.
That's it.
7615 for Romeo Juliet 957.
Right.
Roger,
They can
just
disconnect.
confirm you're on the Go Sun 1 Charlie departure.
And once they've done, what we'll do is run our after start flow and then we'll get our clearance. There's no point trying to break up checklists. We'll just make a mess of things.
Lovely stuff, cheers.
Having said that, I'll then jump into the chat and end up doing exactly what I said I shouldn't do. Thanks for the subscription to Cute Disco Cat. If I didn't say, Vehicle Boy. No, everyone's welcome here, and the Discord is for everyone to, you know, it's full of helpful people, and it has been right from the start. So thank you to everyone who does contribute and joins in on the Discord. But yeah, absolutely everyone's welcome. Doesn't matter what sort of stage you're at with flight simulation. And I've got more of those beginner tutorial videos coming out on the channel soon. There we go, engines are running.
Ground speed 358.
So hopefully they can let somebody push if they want to. And there's the wave. Fantastic.
A320, stand 20.
Stand 20. There we go, we've got a speedbird going to Frankfurt as well. Excellent.
Cleared to Frankfurt, the ToLiss Charter
Right.
departure, runway
There's the wave.
24,
Let's
squawk 56,
finish up here. That go there. So we're arming the ground spoilers in case of a reject. We're setting the flaps to 1. And after start checklist, anti-ice is going to be off. Ecam status is checked. No status message. Pitch trim is set. Rudder trim is 0. After start checklist complete. Let's get our clearance.
Ground, good evening, KLM 95 Yankee vacated onto Alpha.
Let's time those engines. Early morning, they'll need 5 minutes to warm up.
Stand 3 via Alpha and Echo.
Stand 3 via Alpha and Echo, KLM 95 Yankee.
Evening, Matteo Tanzi. Hope you're doing well.
Romeo Juliet
Yep, we'll be getting ready to take off soon.
24.
Romeo Juliet 957, stand by.
Manta 232 ready to copy clearance.
Manta 232, stand by. I've got an aircraft pushing behind you without clearance.
Oh no. Oh dear. Darian says, have you ever had to use a gravity gear extension handle? No, thankfully not. But it is really, I've used it in the simulator obviously, and it's very simple. It's a great piece of design.
You ready to copy clearance?
Ready to copy Manta 232.
cleared to Frankfurt, go some 1 Charlie departure, runway 24, squawk 4750.
Cleared to Frankfurt, go some 1 Charlie, squawk 4750, Manta 232.
Manta 232, read back correct information, Alpha currents, QNH 1002.
Thank you, QNH 1002, Manta 232. Right, so this is something they've changed as well. You used to be able to type it in, and on this transponder, I think you can just type it in, but now you have to clear and do that. There we go, onto transponder. That normally stays in auto, but we set it on in ToLiss just to get the TCATs working properly. Right, that can go back to performance. So I think we're ready to taxi. We've got our chart. Manta 232, request taxi.
Manta 232, taxi on point Delta 1, runway 24, 5 Foxtrot Alpha Delta.
Foxtrot Alpha Delta, holding point Delta 1, runway 24, Manta 232. Perfect. Left, right, which is Alpha, then Delta, Delta 1. And important to note where it is in comparison to the turn. So it's after the turn. So I'm going to go along, turn left, Delta 1, stop there. Cat 1 holding point makes sense. Right, let's get ourselves underway. As I have to now readjust my desk. As I said, it was not running very smoothly before this one. Okay, let's get those lights on. I've had a lot of questions about lighting and taxi lights, so I am going to do a video on lights, and I'm just trying to think of which topics to cover because it's a popular topic. Anyway, runway turn-off lights are going to be on. Nose light's going to be to taxi. That way, the nose lights on the taxi wheel will always just shine forwards, and these turn-off lights shine out the side, which gives us the best visibility, and it makes it clear to everyone else that we are now taxiing. If it's just the forward light, people at the side wouldn't really be able to tell, and these are a little bit brighter in real life. But also, when you make a turn, you have to be able to see around the corner, really. Some aircraft, that nose wheel light is attached to the steering part of the wheel, but it isn't on the Airbus, so that's why we use all of them. Right, let's go. So it's clear on the left, clear on the right. We've had a look around. Brakes released.
Edinburgh ground, good evening. Lufthansa 965 after pushback from stand
there's the defense there.
Clearance to Frankfurt.
Yeah, they got caught out like me.
965 in future, just call me for push and start. Anyway, you're cleared to...
Because we all heard the last controller sign off, so we all went back to Unicom. Right, let's do a brake check. Get a bit of engine spool up. Test those brakes. Yeah, that's a bit much. You wouldn't want to come to a stop, but there we go.
Say again, squawk, please.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, Darian, even the reading lights on the passenger seats. Yeah, I should talk about those. Right. Around the corner. I was watching Aviaman's stream, and he was saying that the taxiing in the A320 NEO feels better than the taxiing in the X-Plane ToLiss. And I think, having compared the two, I think the taxiing, the handling in Microsoft Flight Simulator is very good. 1003, it's rising. 1003, it's set and cross-checked. But I say it's good in the sense that it's too good. There's too much grip and performance, whereas the ToLiss seems to really capture it. That sense of, you know, if you're going too fast, you'll just slide when you try and turn that little nose wheel. It won't work. And like I say, I've got a taxi tutorial coming out soon, which will cover some of these things. Okay, let's do a flight control check. So full left and full right. You might hear my joystick creaking as always here. Regular viewers will be familiar with that sound. Full up and full down, all looking good. Let's press the rudder disconnect button and rudder. Full left, full right, neutral. That's all looking good. Let's get that multi-scan, ground clutter suppression, put it to windshield to auto and the radar on. Transponder to FRA, max auto brake, takeoff config test. Bing bong the cabin crew. Real life taxi speed, Dave, in an airliner is going to be up to 30 knots in a straight line, typically 15 to 10 knots in turns, you know, definitely 10 knots and below on tight turns. When you're parking on stand, under 5 knots, including for the turn. If it's wet, you'll have to slow all of those things down because this line will be slippery. It's painted, so it's really easy to slide. Right, that's 5 minutes, engines are warm. Before takeoff checklist, flight controls are checked, flight instruments we've checked, briefing. Yeah, let's do that. We've got our Ghost down departure up to 6,000 feet. Looks sensible, going from runway 24 in that direction. We're going to make a right turn back into runway 24 if we have any problems. We're taking off at a pretty reasonable weight, 78 tons, flap 1 takeoff. We got 152, 163, climb nav blue, 152, 6,000 feet stop altitude. 122.8, Manta 232, thanks for your help, mate. There we go. That was nice to have a controller for the departure, especially as there's so many aircraft here at the moment. Right, I'm going to bring myself to a stop at Delta 1 just to give myself a chance to finish up that checklist. Now, we don't want any part of the airplane over that line. I think even that will be too far back. I've been experimenting a little bit with that, yeah. There we go. Right, and to finish off the checklist, thank you very much for the subscription to Room Johnsdale. Thank you very much. I hope you're enjoying the stream. Right, so we've done FMS briefing, flap setting should be comp 1, which is there, comp 1 in there. FMA and takeoff, we've done, climb the blue 152, 6,000. Transponder is set to TRA, ECAM memo, takeoff no blue, cabin secured, engine mode select norm, TCAS TRA packs are going to be on. Most common these days now to have packs on, keep the airflow through the cabin. 200 viewers, yeah, thank you very much, guys. Thanks for everyone for joining in. Yeah, we're about to leave Edinburgh for those of you who've just arrived. Apologies, yes, Manta 232.
Yeah, no problem. Edinburgh Tower's come online now, so contact him 118.7.
Thank you very much. 118.7, Manta 232. Oh, look at that. We're getting treated here. Right, are we ready to go? Let's get our SID chart up. It's nice to have that available in case we need it. And I think that's us. We've done our checklist. Let's say we're ready to go, and then I'll jump into the chat once we're on the way to have a little chat about any questions you guys have, things like that. Edinburgh Tower, good evening. Manta 232, holding point Delta 1, ready for departure.
Station calling, sorry, call sign only.
Manta 232.
Manta 232, Edinburgh Tower, hello, via Delta 1, runway 24, clear takeoff, surface winds 290 degrees, 1 knot.
Clear for takeoff, via Delta 1, runway 24, Manta 232, thank you. So I'll put a little overfly reminder in there just to remind me I have been cleared for takeoff. Let's get all of these lights on now, so they all come on. And that puts us in a pretty good place. Yeah, right. Parking brake released. Clear on the approach. Yeah, I definitely feel like I'm sitting higher up than I was previously. Can't hear much from the engines. Yeah, okay. Because at first I had big trouble with the sound because I turned all the sounds off in X-Plane for the BSS sound pack. And I spent ages trying to work out why I couldn't hear anything before I realised I'd had it all turned down. And here we go. We got some, I believe, colleague coming with us to Frankfurt. And there's a couple of others there. There's a Speedbird 58. At least one other.
Edinburgh Tower, good evening. Lufthansa 965 at holding point runway 24 with you.
Right. Well, I'm famous for holding up all my other colleagues, so I'm not going to do that today. I say famous. Last time I streamed in this, I think it was in the 757. I spent ages before I got out of the way, and there was big queues. It turns out that was the middle of Gatwick midweek madness. Right, here we go then. So let's take off. Start the timer. Normally that's the pilot monitoring. Side stick forwards, half down. I'm going to keep it rolling today. Let's take off. Man, flex 36, SRS runway, order thrust is blue and armed. I recognise some of the sound effects, like that constant thudding. Okay, reducing the side stick to neutral now. Ooh, keep it on center line.
Line up and wait runway 24, Lufthansa 965.
Probably use a fair bit of this runway today, given that split between V1 and rotate. Yeah, look at this. There's V1. And rotate. Try not to pull it off the ground too quickly. The mistake some people make is they see the runway end coming and then we get people over-rotate. They rotate too fast because of the illusion that they're running out of runway. So you have to be careful with that. Because you're already committed to going. So it's, yeah, it doesn't make much difference. There we go.
Manta 232, nothing further. Monitor Unicom 122.8. Good day.
Monitor 1228, Manta 232. Thanks for your help, mate. Okay, so now the airplane should target 163, so 173. Previously it was doing, it would have this magenta bug in the wrong place, but it's definitely improved. There's autopilot 1, levers to climb. Right, thrust, climb, climb, auto thrust, autopilot 1, and we're accelerating. On the go, Sam. Fantastic. Yeah, I think it's a little bit high, the seating position. I think. I don't know. Have to get used to it. Lovely. I love these early morning. Slightly misty today. So yeah, it may confuse you guys, anyone in Europe anyway, when it's going to gradually get lighter throughout this flight because I've set it to dawn. Okay, we're going to get auto flap retraction then, passing through to 10. There it goes. Flaps retract at the back. There's S speed and increasing, so flaps to 0. Oh, that's a bit laggy. Disarm those ground spoilers and get rid of the nose wheel lights. Entering these clouds, what's the temperature? Plus 14 total air temperature, so we can leave the anti-ice off for now. Let's go to 1228.
Cleared for takeoff, Lufthansa 9065.
Okay, restriction, we've got a 6,000 feet restriction to come. So I think we'll level off and then we'll get ourselves further climb from there. Michael says, how do you calculate your takeoff speeds in FS 2020? If you use the mod, I do show you in my last Viva 0.4 video, I think I show you how to do that. You basically have to enter your flap you want, and then you select the speed in the MCDU and then select it back in again. It sort of copies it into the scratch pad, but that's in that version 0.4 video. 1,000 feet to go then. We would normally try and reduce that rate of climb, but it's already gone into outstar, so I'm too late to do that. Also, we know it's empty out there because we're only leveling off because we have no controller. Let's have a flyby to start the flight with. Why not? I mean, back when I did my first stream to from Frankfurt, it's Frankfurt to Amsterdam, and I was doing it on my laptop, and I've since built a computer to do this stuff with. But even my computer, you can see, gets brought to a halt by these clouds. They are very nice, but they do seem to really make the computer work hard. Okay, let's get ourselves up. I think we'll just go all the way up. What do we want? 350. Let's go open climb. Gonna give ourselves standard. There it is. Flight level 350 is in blue. That was our cruising level today. Excellent. Right, we're on Unicom. Off we go. Right, I'm seeing that I think some of the alerts aren't working anymore. Oh, here they come. Good. Ellie, thank you very much for the €5 donation. That's incredibly kind of you. Is this enough for a soda pop today? Thanks and have an excellent flight. I'm sure it is. Thank you very much for doing that. That's very kind of you. Thank you for supporting the channel and joining in today, Eddie. It's really appreciated. And Alan Story, another Discord user, has very generously £20. Thank you very much, Alan. Hi, Captain. Just making up for lost time. Keep up the excellent work, Alan. That's very kind of you. Thank you. I know Alan has been a big advocator of opening up support for the channel through YouTube and so on. So thank you very much. It's really appreciated, Alan. I'm glad you've been enjoying the videos, and thank you for being so active on the Discord. So yeah, Ellie and Alan, thank you guys. That's yeah, very kind. Right. After takeoff checklist, landing gear is up, flaps are retracted, and at 0 packs are both on. You would certainly know about that by now. And we're on standard. Next check's at 10,000. Dougal, no problem at all. Thanks for coming along. I'm sure I've managed to put this over your dinner as well. I always seem to time it wrong for people in the evenings. Pilot Peely, good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Thanks for coming along as well. Yeah, we were already airborne, but thankfully you guys missed the slightly shambolic start. Okay, through 10,000 feet, accelerating now. 340 knots en route climb speed is ridiculous, but let's see if it manages that. Nose is nice and low now, so we're in the turn, but that won't matter. Let's get the seatbelt signs off. Let's get those landing lights off. They'll start rumbling and making noise out there. Looks pretty good. We're turning en route to go, Sam. Very good. And in the MCDU, RadNav, that's all cleared. We're using auto tuning anyway. Secondary, we can copy over the rest of the flight. And I think we're in a pretty good place. I'm going to put airports on this side. So there's Glasgow, which we won't get a chance to see, sadly. Yeah, still those clouds. Look at that. And there's that sunrise, giving that lighting. I do enjoy that. Hyphen, no problem. Thank you for coming along for the part you come along for. I hope you have a good afternoon or evening. Or morning, or whatever it is where you are in the world. Thank you. Steve Wern. I'm glad you're learning things from the streams and the videos. It's just as you may have seen in my last Microsoft Flight Simulator video, I only know about this one airplane, and when I try and fly anything else, it all crumbles. It all crumbles. Right, so we are well on our SID now, making our left turn shortly. I'm going to put terrain on because I can see the weather's nice, and hopefully we'll get a sunrise as we turn around. There it is, sun's rising nice and early. Time for a bit of breakfast, no doubt. It would be. Death says, what cloud add-on are you using? I'm not using any add-on for my clouds today. This is default X-Plane. Yeah, X-Plane 11 default clouds. I've long been an advocate of them. I like them for this sort of thing. So when you're having stratus, mist, reduced visibility, I think they're quite good. They're very fuzzy, which gives that sort of undefined edges, which is what realistic clouds are in this sort of conditions. You know, you can be really unsure about whether you're entering them or not. They're not always perfect, crisp, cumulus clouds that you can see. So yeah, just default. Mr. Espresso, oh my goodness, Mr. Espresso again, €21.99. Thank you very much, Mr. Espresso. You've been supporting the channel far more than you need to, but thank you for your kind donation. I hope you're doing well, Mr. Espresso. Thanks for coming along again today. Oh, that's very generous. Mr. Espresso has been a long time viewer of the channel as well, and has also been donating in the previous streams. So it's very kind to all you guys who've donated today. Thank you so much for helping out the channel. Right, I've got a slight issue with the way my screens are set up. I mean, in my actual room where I'm sitting right now. So I'm trying to read the comments, but I do apologise if I miss anything. Okay, we can stop timing. Eddie, thanks for the subscription. I hope you're doing well, and thank you for your support. Okay, so that's ridiculous. Climbing at 340 knots is not interested. Not worth it. Let's put in cost index 25 for now, and that will slide back. In the real aircraft, that just jumps back. It will just go from there. It will think about it, and then it will drop it, and then the airplane will start making quite an aggressive change. So you have to be a little bit careful when you're fiddling with the managed speed modes. Let's have a passenger view who will now be looking forward to their cup of tea, and no doubt. What do you think of the sounds? I'll stop talking for a minute and just let the sounds go. I'll just say thank you to JD Shemp for subscribing first. Thank you very much. I hope you're enjoying the stream. Let me know what you think of the audio. Right. Thank you very much, Steve Wern, for £5 donation through Super Chat. That's very kind of you, Steve. I hope you're doing well and enjoying the videos. I'm incredibly humbled by the amount of support you guys are showing for the channel. Thank you very much. I hope you're... well, just thank you very much, Steve. Yeah, very kind of you. Tip City. Yeah, people seem happy with the audio. Yeah, I think it's good. I like the BSS sound pack. The BSS sound pack has a big advantage with its audio on the takeoff and landing, where it doesn't play that constant clunk clunk, like sort of repetitive sound, which I think exposes some of the audio loops in the recordings, and the BSS doesn't do that. It's very good actually, but yeah. Nate Mayback, thank you very much for the subscription. Oh goodness me, yeah, you guys are too kind. Steve, Mr. Espresso, Alan, yeah, very kind of you guys. Right, some questions I did see. What are the balls on the pillar, which I'm assuming was these are the alignment. So this is what you use to align your eye for the correct seating position. It's not showing up very well on my screen here, a bit dark, but really we're in the wrong position. We want to be a bit lower, there you go, and there. So you want to block out the white ball like that. Now that would put me somewhere here, which, yeah, I'd say that's probably maybe a little bit low. Another trick I use is I try and get my eyes into line with this little cover here. I'm not sure what this is. I assume it's an access point to cover the wires for these controls up here. These are lights that shine down here, but these days this is never used because, lo and behold, everyone uses iPads which light up and too bright as they are. But yeah, so yeah, I think the default position now is just that bit higher, slightly too much perhaps. Zarat LP says, what do you think about flying on VATSIM or IVA? Will you do it in the future? We are on VATSIM today. I've used it quite a lot. In fact, I did use it on my very first flight, but we got disconnected, as some of you will remember back when we left Frankfurt. My old laptop couldn't handle the frame rates required to then also do VATSIM. But luckily, my new computer does seem to be able to, plus Vulkan now. We're at 50 frames a second, even with the clouds, which is nice. I only run it at 1080p now anyway. Are the stab trim numbers the same on the NEO and the CEO is a question. Sorry, the chat scrolled on. Who said that? JD Shemp. Yes. Yep. Stab trim numbers just sit down here. The CG limits may change slightly. I'm sure they do. But we don't notice much difference. I mean, I've never ever seen a CG down here at 41. I mean, you might hear a cat complaining in the background, so I do apologise for that. I promise the cat's been fed. I know I get asked every stream. It has definitely been fed, and that should be on. But yeah, it does like to complain at this time of day. Right, let's get 1215. That should be there, and you leave that on box 2, and we need to listen. There we go. Ah, that's interesting. These panels are independent, so each pilot can choose which channel to listen to and not listen to. So yeah, but these boxes, the actual radio panels, are interlinked. So if I set that to VHF 1, it will match, and it would also have a little amber light here warning me, because when you do this, it's very easy to get confused as to what frequency, because you can see if this pilot swaps over, we'll get 12745, whereas if this pilot swaps over, we get 1187. So typically we leave them this side doing 1, this side doing 2. Oh, that's yeah, broadcast, not me getting in trouble. I do flinch when I hear VATSIM noises. Aviaman, hope you're doing well, good to see you. Thanks very much for your support, Aviaman. Aviaman is a streamer along with Dougal. I do say this every stream, and I like to make sure you guys are aware. They run the Simwings support project. The link is in the description for this video as well, where they help people who can't otherwise get hold of flight simulator stuff. So members of the community who haven't been able to get a flight simulation setup sorted, and they help them out with that using donations and money raised for the Simwings support. So yeah, that's what that's for. So good to see you, Aviaman. I hope you're doing well. I hope I'm not streaming over you today. I know I did last time, so hopefully I haven't done that. Yes, Darian. Yeah, the cat does beg for food after being fed, so that's pretty standard. Cuthbert says, "Are there any backup flight controls?" Yes, there absolutely are. Manual reversion is what it's called, and the Airbus has that, but as I show in my video on it, have I done manual reversion? Goodness me. I was counting up my videos today, by the way, since I started this project I think it was in March. I started the channel, the hobby, and I've done 67 actual videos and then another 22 live streams. This would be 23, I think, since then. So I do start to lose track slightly of what topics have definitely been covered. But I do a video on normal law, and then another video on alternate law, and direct law. So mechanical backup is the one stage below all of those. where you're flying. You've got engines, you've got thrust, you've got the pitch power couple, and you've got the rudder. Because the rudder is the only flight control that is still linked hydraulically to the rudder pedals. It doesn't need a computer. So you end up flying with just the rudder and the engines. It's possible, but it's not ideal, as you can imagine. Oh, Aviaman isn't streaming because... oh, I see. A few people are. Oh dear, I do apologise. I try to avoid stepping on other streams, but sometimes it just ends up as it is, and people's days off just coincide. Alan says, why aren't you using managed altitude? Yeah, good point. If we were cleared straight up, then I would have done... You can just do that. Climb. It really makes no difference is the reality. Managed climb in this mode simply means climb thrust, which is what we're getting anyway in open climb or managed climb. It's climb thrust, and climb mode is, of course, just there's no constraints on this flight anymore. So the last constraint was on that departure. So, of course, in managed climb, it would have leveled off at 6,000 until it was clear of the constraint. You almost never have to sit at those constraints for a long time. You nearly always get further climb, so that's typically when you end up using open climb to override it. But now up here, yeah, managed climb and open climb are exactly the same. It's just thrust climb and the managed speed target. Yeah, good question though. Domingo Da Vinci says, is this ToLiss version a study level model? I think I've said before, this is really good. I really like it, and it's one of the best Airbus models out there for sure. Study level is I suppose what you mean is it's detailed enough to be useful for Airbus pilots. And the problem there is that every Airbus, every airline will have its own version of the Airbus with different fits, and many airlines will have several versions of the Airbus. So they'll have different computers or different ECAM fits, things like that. So the ECAM may even handle differently, and then they get updated. So there's no way to really rely on a simulator like this for actual study, for an actual sim check in the real aircraft. You're best off using your airline's manuals and techniques. What it is good for, though, is it is an incredibly detailed representation of the Airbus, and it's, looking at the modes and just what you might expect to see and so on. It's very good. Yeah, it is really good. It is leaps and bounds ahead of the some of the other Airbus products out there. I haven't tried the flight factor in X-Plane 11, though. I know that's very popular. Chief Sim Pilot says, thank you very much for stopping in with your like, and hello, hope you're doing well. Dara Dermody says, how many years have you been flying? I've been flying, I try not to be too specific with it, but yeah, in the region of 8 years at the moment. Although I've been flying longer than that, but that's sort of my my commercial sort of career. Cuthbert, no problem. I'm glad you're enjoying the vids and you're thinking of FS 2020. Well, if you saw my live stream, I really enjoyed flying FS 2020 for the VFR stuff. I do think it is good at that. It's also really good for the group flights because you can go on there stress-free. We don't have to do air traffic or anything like that. We're not messing anyone else up. We can just enjoy it, enjoy the scenery and have a bit of fun. And it is really good in those small aeroplanes. And the graphics are ludicrous. I mean, the clouds when we left Venice were amazing. I don't know if anyone saw that being lit up from underneath. It was so good. Really impressed. So yeah, it's great for that. But if you want to fly, as has been said a million times, if you want to fly the airliners X-Plane at the moment, it's still going to be the place to be for now. But the fly-by-my mod is getting better and better very quickly. Cam Norton, hello. You're very welcome, Cam. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you very much for coming along to say so. Aviation Daniel says, sorry, what is a EDI? That would be the departure airport. So we departed from Echo Golf Papa Hotel, Edinburgh airports. So EDI's the, let me get this right way round, IATA code, I think, whereas ICAO is the Echo Golf Papa Hotel. I see a few questions I've missed. One I did see... Oh, the cat's making a scene again. There we go. Right, I think the cat will be a bit quieter now. She's decided to sit down on my lap, which will keep her satisfied for a little while, I imagine. A question from Bath McNabb said, did any pilots have problems staying current during the worst of the COVID crisis? Yeah, there are requirements to do takeoffs and landings. It will depend on the country you're in and the authority. Last 1,000 feet to go now. Still got our 350 ready and armed. So, yeah, airlines have to be very careful, and I'm sure they've been working, all airlines have been working very hard to try and meet the recency requirements for pilots that are still flying. But yeah, it's tricky. And if you think about long haul, crews on long haul flights, they may do maybe 4 flights or 8 total flights in a month, which would give them not much room for landings anyway. But the Hives, thank you for coming along, and I'm glad you've enjoyed the videos, and it sounds like they've helped you out with Microsoft Flight Simulator. There's Mac Out Cruise. So yeah, thanks for coming along to say so about that. Right, now we've done that, so let me get the right buttons. No, not that one. That one. There we go. TCAS can go to below or norm, depends. And let's have a systems check. We haven't done a systems check in a while on this channel, I think. Easiest way is to go through all, and it just cycles through for us. Again, it's always a bit of a strange thing to do. It's not strange, it makes sense, but the Airbus is so equipped, it would often tell you very quickly. The fuel page we do want to pay attention to. So we burnt 2.1, 7.8, 8.8, 9.8, 9.9. So about 10 tons total. So that seems to make sense. APU's off. Cabin's nice and controlled. I wonder what happens if we do this. So that's funny. Yeah. I think I've mentioned this before, that the Microsoft Flight Simulator, the fly-by-wire team changed these in the last update to make sure they slide, because they aren't click switches. So in real life, although it has these little notches on it, they don't actually click between positions, they just slide. So you can be a very fine gradient, put it like that. What happens if let's warm up the flight deck, cool down the cabin. Passengers tend to not like being too hot. You'll get complaints quite quickly if it's hot in the cabin. Especially if there's turbulence, people, I think, feel a bit more ill if there's turbulence and they're also too hot. Thank you for the subscription, Transport Swim Production. I hope you're doing well, and I hope you're enjoying the video. Wheel and flight controls, there we go, all looking great. Right, I'm going to try and jump in the chat. I wish it would appear on the other side of my screen. There must be a way to do that. If I was smarter, I'd have figured it out already, I'm sure. Savage Hater said, how do you get the best camera view for landing? So yeah, I don't know actually, and there we go. That's what happens when you press W. You get that. So that W is the X-plane default, I think, whereas trigger is taking me to the ToLiss default, which is, I think that's going to be pretty good, if a little bit high. And it's amazing in the real aircraft. Soma Kirkhoff, thanks for your subscription. In the real aircraft, if you sit slightly high or low compared to what you're used to for your landing, you will feel the difference, and it will be harder. It's amazing how much difference a centimetre seat position can make. Bernard, thanks for your subscription. I hope you're doing very well. I must say thank you to everyone on the channel who's chatting and for subscribing. We passed 24,000 subscribers a little while back, and I made a little post about it before or just after the community flight, the group flight on Microsoft Flight Simulator. And then we've managed to sail through 25,000 a couple of days ago, so I think we're at 25.5, something like that, which is, it's just madness. Thank you so much for all your support. It's that first 1,000 subscribers, a lot of guys here in the chat today were there for that first part, and it wasn't the mission or anything, but it certainly was a gradual process. It was great fun, but it's just amazing to think that we passed 1,000 in the last couple of weeks on top of that, which is it's just thank you guys for all coming along. Darian now wants to see a 24-hour flight for the 24,000 special. Yeah, I'll have to pick up one of those 787s to do that, I think. Jonathan Solander, thanks for coming along. I'm not sure if I've said hi to Jonathan yet in the chat, but I'm glad you enjoy the videos, and I'm glad. Yeah, thank you very much. That's very kind of you, Jonathan. Thank you. The only Millhouse says, who decides if the FO does takeoff, landing, or the captain? Is that determined before the flight, or is it rock paper scissors on the day? Yeah, that's a good question. It's going to be a case of, are there any? The first thing will be, are there any restrictions on who can take off or land? So if it's low visibility procedures, it may be that the captain has to do the takeoff or the landing. If it's really windy, some airlines will have different limits for co-pilots and for captains. So it might be that if the crosswinds are too high, then the captain will have to do the takeoff or landing. So if there's anything like that, then that will sort of decide who's going to fly that flight. But otherwise, on a normal day, it's a chat really. I think most people, 99 times out of 100, what happens is the crew will decide between them by saying, well, do you have any preference? Because most people don't have too much preference on it. It doesn't make the world of difference. And if somebody would like to land somewhere, or that maybe they have friends or family on the flight, so they're going to be wanting to do the landing and takeoff and all the PAs or something like that, then that way they get their chance. But mostly it's just a sort of a minor preference thing. Thank you, Rishab, for your kind words. It's very, very kind of you guys to say this. Cuthbert says, are pilots allowed to talk with the co-pilots at all on the flight, or are you not allowed to talk? So I assume you mean you're saying are pilots as in captains, because I know Americans often refer to that it's the pilot and the co-pilot. Because in Europe, I don't know, you guys might disagree with me. I've always taken it as pilots in Europe always means both pilots sitting on the flight deck. One's a captain, one's a first officer. But anyway, yeah, we can talk to each other. Absolutely. It's below 10,000 feet is a very common procedure for airlines to say what's called a sterile flight deck, where you won't have conversations not relating to what you're actually doing. But we talk all the time, even then, because we're talking about the flight. You'll be talking about everything. Tailwinds, the temperature, the icing, the traffic around you, further clearance expected, speeds, call outs, because you're monitoring, and that flow of communication between the two pilots is continuous. So yeah, it's very, very continuous. Jonathan Solander, thank you very much for your $10. That's very kind of you. Thank you for the support and the channel. I mean, yeah, today we've had a ridiculous amount of support, so it's very kind of you. And a great sticker, a pair sticker today. That's excellent. Yeah, thank you, Jonathan. That's yeah, greatly appreciate it. And yes, shouldn't talk to the pilot. Well, as you see, I do manage to get myself distracted all the time on these streams. But yeah, so yes, pilots talk, and when you're up in the cruise like this, you can talk about other stuff as long as you're still monitoring and doing your, we've got our fuel checks to do, we've got our systems checks to do, dealing with the cabin, thinking about en route stuff, weather en route. Oh, and we're going to get London Centre now, hooray! 2710. But yeah, once you're in the cruise, you can chat, as long as it's not distracting you from what you're actually doing. 1271. Now we're going to have a very busy frequency.
945 Hotel, London Control, good evening. Clear to Barcelona. Notebook 1 Romeo departure. Squawk 7634.
Someone wants to see the outside of the plane. There we go.
Squawk 7634 for Rhino 45 Hotel. Can you just repeat the departure again, please?
Notebook 1 Romeo departure.
And Notebook 1 Romeo, thank you.
Speedbird 951 Lima, contact Heathrow Direct at 119.725. I have passed your message on.
Great, thank you very much. 119.725. Speedbird 951 Lima.
Just so I can see where I'm flying to. Honolulu. London, good evening. Manta 232, flight level 350, Honolulu.
Manson 232, London Control, good afternoon, route direct Finmer.
Direct Finmer, Manta 232.
Delta 212.
Finmer, there we go. That's a bit of a shortcut. That's a common sort of shortcut, so there we go. Perfect. Ah, we're still over the UK here. We've got a way to go, really. There's Heathrow down there. Somebody not following their route. Vehicle boy, yeah, these are real people. So this is on VATSIM. So Z Williams, Dev, yep, I'm flying on VATSIM. And Ellie says, probably a dumb question. Nope, no dumb questions. You can ask whatever you like. But the controllers you spoke to on the ground are humans that play the game as controllers? Yeah, essentially. Yeah, it's other people doing what I'm doing. I'm pretending to fly my airliner, and they're doing air traffic control. They are controlling all the other traffic in the area. There's a colleague. I think that's a colleague following us. Let's have a look. I have got an app that can tell me this. I use VATMap, which is a free app, which is quite good for this. Although it might be quite hard.
Right, 86 Tango, stand 34, stand set ready for push and start. Right, 86 Tango, stand 34, push and start.
Yeah, there's somebody following along to down to Frankfurt.
Approved and QH 1009, run at 86 Tango. Control speed at 16 with you, Brahms, some call departure passing 3000 for 6000. Speed 16, London Control, good
Jay-Z Wecker says, you created your own scheme? Yeah, we did. Took a bit of time. They got I'd say a slightly better than mixed reaction. People liked it. It was just quite striking at first. Or still. I'm hoping to get it into Microsoft Flight Simulator, and I believe it is possible because people are making Microsoft Flight Simulator liveries, but I don't know how to do it yet, so I have not started or got any immediate plans, but I would love to get it onto the 320 NEO for my Microsoft Flight Simulator videos. I've had a few people complain that I'm still using the default Airbus ones. Vehicle boy, no, I imagine the accents are there because they control areas near they live, control areas near where they live. Domingo Da Vinci says, do you play any other sims or games on your PC? I don't do much of that. I do play a few games on PlayStation. I think I've talked about it before on the channel. Red Dead Redemption or Red Dead Redemption 2 is one of my all-time favourites. But this PC's pretty much been focused on Flight Simulator and X-Plane 11 since I got it. But I do plan to, definitely. I'd like to try some other things. Kerbal Space Program 2 might be fun, but I don't know if you guys want to see that. It's not really what my channel is built on, so I don't stream anything else. But if any of you guys would like to see anything, do always bring it up. I'm happy to always take suggestions on these things. Pavel Kostrov, good to see you. No worries. I always seem to start at awkward times for people. I might try a slightly later start in the future. See, you guys let me know what you think. Yes, contrails are missing in Microsoft Flight Simulator. It is a shame that they are. They're looking good here in X-Plane still. One of my favourite things in X-Plane as well, I show it in my ToLiss update video very briefly, but it's the wing vortices that come from the flaps. So they sort of start here. So in a really humid landing in X-Plane, you get the right camera angle. When the flaps are out, you get the vortices from there, which is really nice because that is roughly what it does in real life. So yeah, I do like that. We've gone for the wingtip fence today, not the fancy new sharklet. Bit of a change. I'm hoping to get I'm not hoping, I will get the NEO engines back onto this. Carter Jarwell did some amazing NEO engines, and I will be planning to use those again soon because they're really good fun. Dougal, enjoy your dinner. Yeah, it's always over the timings. Swappy says it's perfect time. I'm glad, Swappy. Good.
Delta 211, descend flight level 150, level by Soppit.
Mateo says, have you thought about installing the IAE engine mod? So this is we are using IAE, but this isn't the mods. These come included with the ToLiss. It provides CFM and IAE. So yeah, these are just the ones that ToLiss provides. Ragoflex, no problem. Yeah, those are actual people on the radio. Yep, doing their controlling. Barbowski, yeah. If you love your job, you never work. Yeah, it's of course, I absolutely love my job. Yeah, it's something I just really enjoy, and I'm just so glad that I've found this community that everyone enjoys chatting about it, and just enjoying aviation and the Airbus in general. I'm a big fan of the Airbus, as you guys probably know on this channel. Oh, there's our colleague following. I say our colleague. It may not be, but yeah, someone following along. So those of you watching, we've got the audio is actual controllers who are operating. Sounds like several sectors, but they have to go through certain training and get checked out so they can be controllers. And then the other aircraft you can see are actual other people flying like me, and they can be in X-Plane, they can be in P3D, they can be in Microsoft Flight Simulator, and we just happen to be in X-Plane 11. Yeah. I had to keep showing off the bottom because it was pointed out to me that I had not displayed this enough by my graphic designer who worked very hard on this stuff.
Up on that track and clip take up T5. Ready for taxi.
So we have some people. Domingo says stream whilst at work, so I hope it's not too distracting for you. And we've got Darian is listening to the stream while studying, kind of relaxing. So I hope it's not distracting from your study. I remember when I studied, I probably shouldn't say this. Oh, thank you very much for the subscription. Not subscription, for the donation. Ellie, again, that's very generous of you. So thank you for your support today, Ellie, and for subscribing. But you're still enjoying your your drinks in the cabin. I hope you're having a nice flight on our flight down to Frankfurt. Yeah, very kind of you, Ellie. Yeah, I used to set up a flight when I was studying on Flight Simulator, like a 4-hour flight. Set it up, take it off, stick it in the cruise, and then sit there and study. And this is back when I was at school. It's sort of school study, not flight training. But yeah, and then I could study whatever I was doing, essays or whatever, in the meantime. And I tend to find that helped me focus because it just sat me down for that gap of time. But that's not to suggest that's a good idea for everyone. That could be too distracting for some people. So I won't encourage that behaviour, but that's just something I used to do. JD Shem says, I think the heat blur is overdone in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. Yeah. The heat blur here is nice because it's very focused line out the back of the engine, obviously, and it's a straight line. The Microsoft Flight Simulator heat blur, it seems to sort of fade out as if it's not got much thrust behind it. So I think this one looks much more realistic. I will say that. Controversial, but 1228, Manta A321, thanks, goodbye. Back to Unicom we go. I suspect there'll be more controllers as we get over to Germany. I did check there wasn't a Frankfurt event or something on today to cause chaos in. Jan says, have you been to Delta X-ray Bravo, Dubai. I think that is as a pilot. No, I have not. So I don't know. I've been once as a passenger, but yeah, I can imagine it's a busy place full of massive aeroplanes, obviously. But no, I have not been. Vehicle Boy thinks the stream just died. I think it's working okay. So anyone else, let me know if there are issues with it. Vehicle Boy, it could be that you need to... Well, you probably can't hear me. Turn it off and on again. I've had that happen. VATSIM ATC feels very good, John Knowles. Yeah, it's really impressive. The controllers on VATSIM sound really... They use the correct phrases. So yeah, it's very good. JD Shem, no, you're very welcome. Off to work on subway trains. Enjoy that. Yeah, it must be a fascinating job as well. See you next time. Stream's okay. Good. Darian Nahro, a very good question. What happens when the engine is N1 mode? N1 mode is up here. I can zoom in a bit. Engine, N1 mode, 1 and 2. So that's used if the EPR sensors aren't working or there's lots of power to them or something like that, and you can put it into N1. Because we're commanding... Let's do it. Let's take out the auto thrust for a little bit. So if I match up the donuts in theory to where they were, but they were actually up there, a bit more sensitive, and turn off the auto thrust, which you could do with that. It's complaining. It shouldn't be at thrust lock. There we go. Right. We're controlling the EPR. So the blue donuts here is what I'm setting with the thrust lever. So as these move, we set a different EPR. But if that sensor fails, because this is an extra sensor, you can swap it over and control it using the N1 mode instead. And this is something you would normally do only as part of a checklist. Not sure. I've never done this in real life in this context, so I don't know if that is a legitimate reaction, whether it needs to have failed before that button will work. But you can't overboost in rated N1 mode, so if you end up in rated N1 mode, you'll know. Let's get that thrust back where it needs to be before we end up with problems. Auto thrust back on, Mac out auto thrust. Yeah, you'll end up in rated N1 mode, which is still protected. You could be in unrated N1 mode. You'll get amber crosses up here, and that means you could overboost the engines. But that's the only time, and that's quite a serious thing to end up in. Oh, there you go. Joseph says that they're in med school. Wow, goodness me. Very good, yeah. They turn on the flight sim for a long-haul flight to focus on study, yeah. So that's what I was doing. Baffling Nav has to do that. Most flights in the NEO in Microsoft Flight Simulator, yeah. Yeah, it's not quite, the auto thrust system on that is not quite perfect yet. Right, I should probably at some point, we are on Unicom. Did I put it to Unicom 1228? Yeah, I'm going to get rid of Edinburgh and bring up the charts for Frankfurt. Now this will be fun because as you can see, there are loads of different arrivals for Frankfurt. We are going to come in via... I'm flight plan via Onoko. So what runway are they using? Most likely westerlies of some variety. I am woefully... oh my goodness, look at the amount of charts they've got. This is ludicrous. Here we go. So we got 25 right, 25 centre, 25 left. I'd very much expect one of the 25 runways. Let's go for 25 right initially. I know they also... I think it's 25 centre they would also use for landing. 25 right Zulu, quite a common one. And Unoku to Bravo. Look at that. It's actually in there. Let's put this to plan. It is nice having a FMGC and MCDU that seems to sort of work roughly as expected. Via CHA. Insert. So there we go. We have some sort of arrival now. Bringing ourselves round. That will give us a better top of descent idea. Still quite a way away. Yeah, this is one of our longer flights. Excellent. Somebody said earlier on, I'm sorry, I've forgotten who asked it. They said, airport. Why do you select airport? Now, it wouldn't show this many airports on that zoomed out scale. We do it because it just gives you an idea of what's around. So if we have a problem now, say we have a sick passenger, something like that, I know that Heathrow's beneath me, London Stanton's off to the left. And some of these airports are too small. That's why I don't think they would appear on the real aircraft. But yeah, Luton, Echo Golf, Golf Whiskey. So it gives you a constant idea of the range you've got to these airports and where they are around you. You might use it to see what's around and then look up some weathers, print out some weathers, or get an ATIS or two, just to give you some options. Pilots love options. We're always looking for other options. You come up with a plan, you need to have a plan B and a sort of a start of a plan C at least, and then you can make the plan C more complete if you need to. So let's see if we can bring up the star charts. This is going to be fun. This is going to be fun. 47, 98 departure charts. I mean, yeah, that's not ideal, is it? Unoku 2 Bravo, we found it. Success. Unoku, down, round we go. Yeah. Via CHA. Now, if any of you saw my stream where I went to the Faroe Islands, you would have seen me have to constantly change the approach. I think I had to change 3 times on that. So I would imagine a similar thing is going to happen here, because none of what I'm expecting here will happen unless there's no air traffic control, and then by the magic we will make it happen for ourselves. Right, jumping into the chat. Evening, Virtual Aviator. I hope you're doing well. Ryan Mitchell says you have to fly from Echo Golf Alpha Alpha sometime. Where is that? What's the name of that airport? I should know. Vehicle Boy, if it's not working for you, yeah, you might need to close your YouTube app and reopen it. That did happen once to us. A nerd who gives L says, do you know if it's in all countries eligible age to flight 15? I don't know, I'm afraid. It will probably vary by country. And I think 15 is for solo flying. I can't remember the age even where in the UK. I can't remember the age limit. Sorry. Yeah. Says Kayak, yeah, that stream was great. Yeah, that stream to the Faroe Islands was quite something. It was absolutely... it's one of the longer ones I've had. It's the first stream I've done where we ended up in a really sticky situation. We'd gone around because we messed up the first approach. We were too fast into the Faroe Islands, which is a pretty tricky airport to get into anyway. And then there was a lot of air traffic going on, which I wasn't expecting. I expected it to be very quiet. And then we started setting up for our second approach, and then they changed runway to the other end, which was an approach I hadn't really wanted to do because the X-plane was pretty bad with the runway gradient, and it's a non-precision approach and so on. But we managed. But yeah, it was a good one, that. Yeah, good fun. Darian, got to go, but no worries, Darian. Have a good evening, morning, day, night. Thanks for joining us today. Benjamin Pollock says, can you explain what the VIA is when entering an approach? I get SIDS and stars, but that bit confuses me. Yeah, I have actually talked about this before, where normally in the real aircraft I almost never have to select a VIA. It just works. This via CHA would have automatically been selected because it tends to know, but the ToLiss asks me to set it. So the VIA just completes it. Normally, the only reason I'd have to actually enter a VIA is if I was flying a procedural ILS. So let's say that a VOR overhead the airfield, and the ILS procedure involved going outbound, background, and in. Quite common in sort of smaller regional UK airports. And in that case, I'd put via the VOR to stop it drawing the straight lines in, that sort of thing. But yeah, it's not quite like that in the real aircraft. It does tend to just join that for you. Eddie says, I must not know where to look, but what time is your local time? I see the ETA, but now time on the plane. Ah. So the ETA is 18:07. Yeah, that's a good point. I do apologise. Basically, I set this to daylight because I've done a few nighttime streams. So I wonder, what time does this say? This says 9:24. So an hour. We should be landing in an hour. That's the current plan. Yeah, good point. Sorry about that. That's because I've fiddled with the time in Explain. Right, we are on VATSIM, but we're not talking to anyone. I'll just check that no one's around here. Because before we get into the airspace for Germany or Maastricht, I'm expecting there to be more controllers over there. I'm going to take a quick break, guys. So I will be back very soon. I'll leave you with an outside view and the music you will probably be used to if you've seen these streams before. And we'll be back in just a few minutes. Hello everyone and welcome back. I hope I haven't missed anything. Let me just check that VATSIM hasn't told me off in the meantime. No, I think we got away with it. Yeah, apologies, the overlay changed there. That was set up from my previous live stream in Microsoft Flight Simulator, so yeah, should be back to the correct one now. And I'll just jump into the chat and see what I've missed. Oh yeah, Belfast at Aldergrove. Echo Golf Alpha Alpha. Of course, Ryan. Yeah, no, that's I should add that one in. Chris Patton, how do you get the magenta bar? I use Fly Live Studio. Fly Live Studio. It took me a bit of time to get it working, and as you can see, I'm not very good at it. I still make mistakes and have the wrong one load up and things like that. But yeah, Fly Live Studio for the streaming overlay. So Fly Live Studio I use to create the overlay, and then I use Streamlabs to put that overlay onto the video. Jan will have to leave. Thank you for the stream. No, thank you for coming along. That's very kind of you. Mipsa 2000 says, when will you release your How to Taxi your Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 video? Yeah, that's in a couple of days. That one will go live on the channel. I'm just trying to make sure I'm happy with a few things about it before I do that, and also trying to balance out my output of videos to keep things going. I try not to put all the videos on the channel in the bulks. That sometimes I make them in one go, but I try to space it out a little bit just to make sure it's not too much. Otherwise I could end up with uploading sort of 3 hours in a day of me talking constantly about the Airbus, which I don't know how well received that would be. Although I suppose we're about to do 2 hours here. How long have we been going for? 1.5 hours already, yeah. No problem at all. Oh, here we go. Made it back. We're getting 1311. There we go then. Now this could mess up my entire arrival plan.
Dash 545.
And it's going to be incredibly busy, as we would expect. Control, good evening. Manta 232, flight level 350 to Conan.
Manta 232, hello sir, radar contact.
Good. Nice and simple. These days we use CPDLC a lot in this sort of part of Europe. A lot. I hope it gets added. I know they've put it into the Microsoft Flight Simulator 320 NEO. I hope it gets improved.
Dash 545 is still here.
Dash 545, can you check your altimeter settings? Standard 1013, I have you 300 feet too high.
Captain Scoop, hello. Thanks for coming along. Somebody asked earlier, are you qualified, or does your type rating allow you to fly the whole Airbus family? It does. It allows you to fly the short-haul Airbus family. A318, 19, 20, 21, and you could end up flying those on the same day, yes. Yeah. So what should we do, guys? Is there an ATIS for EDDF? There is, 118025. So that we're going to put on the secondary box. Now this is where you need 3 hands. 118. Already forgotten the frequency, 025. And then I can sort that.
Dash 545, when ready, descend to flight level 230 to be level at 25
left runways in use 1825 center and 25 left transition level 60.
10 flight level 230.
180 degrees 6 knots. Visibility 10 kilometers, light showers of rain clouds. Few clouds at 1500 feet, scattered CD 4800 feet. Temperature 18. 2.12. Wind page 1014, trend temporary moderate showers of rain. Frankfurt information Alpha. Out. Frankfurt information Alpha. Met report time 1720, expect ILS approach runway 25 left runways in use 1825 center and 25 left transition level 60. Wind 180 degrees 6 knots. Visibility 10 kilometers, light showers of rain clouds. Few clouds
Right.
at 1500.
There we go. So, lovely day up here, but it sounds pretty miserable day down in Frankfurt. Pretty windy. Sorry, not windy. Pretty wet. Few CBs around as well. And they said expect approach for 25 left, which I did not expect. I think earlier I carefully listed the runway I thought it would be, and as ever have been proven to be completely wrong. They said expect the ILS 25 left. Let's bring up the AVI tab. And the landing 25 left, runways in use were 18 and 25 centre and 25 left. So, here's the question. ILS 25 left. That comes in from Charlie Hotel Alpha, so I'm optimistic we'll be able to use the same arrival. Now, I would expect us to arrive from the north anyway, so I'm not sure why my flight plan does that, but that is the flight plan, so, you know, I don't know why you'd do that. Also, I'm imagining, well, actually, I don't know where we'll park. I don't know what terminal Manta Airlines uses at Frankfurt. So let's do the... thanks for the subscription to PovNav. I hope you're enjoying the video. Of course, PovNav may not be watching, maybe watching one of the other videos, but there we go. It will alert us anyway. Right. Let's get this right. We're going to have the same arrival. Yeah, the 2 Bravo still works. But that's planned just to see what we're fiddling with. But this time, via CH8 for the ILS-25 left. Perfect. So we can watch that get changed shortly, and you'll watch me struggle through that. Saved us a little bit of fuel. QNH was 1014. Get this stuff entered in now so I don't forget. Temperature 18. So yeah, mild, wet evening. And wind is 180 at 6. Yeah, they don't tend to land on 18 because it blocks off all the other runways, of course. Let's have a look at the minima. Straight in. ILS. Note 1. No, we're not going to do that. We're going to be 562. Harvey Alpha 50. Yeah, well, we could order that. Flat 3, flat 4 landing. Pretty heavy, so pretty high speed. So yeah, that'd be better for the brakes. Go around altitude if we need it. Of straight ahead, 5.5 FFM. Then turn left into 243 FFM. Then on radio 243 to 8. Right. Okay, that's a long old go around. Let's bring it up here and check it's actually going to work. Okay, flight plan. Let's zoom in. So that all looks good. Down to the ILS from lead key. Platform 4,000 feet. Airfield elevation is what? How high? 362. So, yeah. Okay. So quite a high. Long ILS. 11 miles out. Makes sense. Is it 3 degrees? Yes, it is. Okay, that all looks good. Here's the go around then. So radio 247. Then out. Overfly the Foxtrot points. 5,000 feet left to Charlie Hotel Alpha. And then we're going to hold there, which will set us up for another arrival. Thanks for the subscription to Vanamo Frank. Thank you very much. Vehicle boy, yep, we are starting to prepare for the approach. So there we go. So we've got the ILS, we've got the go around, we've got a bit of extra fuel, and we may have to do some weather dodging. So I don't need the terrain anymore. I'm not too concerned. There's not too much terrain between us and there. But let's set up our... Does this work yet? Have they got the full fixed info page now? I'm not sure if this was adjusted. Let's put in Foxtrot.
Manta 232, are you ready to copy a small reroute?
Ready to copy, Manta 232.
Manta 232, from present position, proceed direct to Tobop, Tango, Oscar, Bravo, Oscar, Papa, direct Unoko.
Okay, present position, direct to Tango, Oscar, Bravo, Oscar, Papa, and then direct Unoku. Manta 232.
Correct.
Okay, right, well let's forget about that for now. Let's go direct to Tobop. This will be quite interesting to see. Let's put that into ARC. So, I want to check that this is a reasonable thing to be doing. So I'm going to type it in there. Is it on our flight plan? I'm assuming it wasn't. Maybe it was. So I'm going to insert that. Yeah, I think it was. So that's not too much of a big deal. And then they want us to go from there direct to Unoko, so we can skip out these points. So I've got two ways I can do that. I can clear out the points I'm not going to use anymore, or I can that can be a bit time consuming because you've got to do each one. There could be quite a few. There's not too many. I'm going to put Unoku after Tobop. There we go. It fills in the top of the sense. It's just sort of cleared out the flight plan slightly. It's not made too much difference to our flight. There we go. Right, I wanted to draw up some range rings. So I go fix info, FFM, 25 miles, and let's have the 110190. That would be 010, I think, in ToLiss land. In the real aircraft, it's actually the other way around. You don't have to put in the reciprocal. Yeah, these like the reciprocal. So 11 would be 290. Oh, it's difficult to do. Yeah, the real aircraft I would just type in... Oh no, actually, hold on. I'm talking nonsense. This is correct. What's different is this is a Jepson chart and these show the reciprocal. strangely. Don't know why they showed a radial inbound rather than outbound. But there we go. So we've got 4,300 for MSA in this little sector, 3,500 outside of that. So we're going to get down to our platform altitude using the procedure or radar vectors, and then we'll go below the 4,000, which will be perfectly safe to do because the MSA is 3.5, and we won't go below that 3.5 until we're on this procedure. So it's safe to do. Right, we've got enough screens there. Let's bring up a arrival chart or a landing chart. Good evening to Mo Gamer, to Chrislan, Massimo Cotticelli. Hello. What is the Zulu time of this fly? I see different times between MTD, Avitab and Magenta. Yes, I do apologise. I made it daylight for the flight because we've done a few night flights, and I said I would try and make a daylight flight. Problem is because I'm on VATSIM and the software for the overlays doesn't know that, so it's all out of line. So we're arriving in about 9:23, 45 minutes, 40 minutes from now. Yeah. Sim Aviator. You're very welcome, Sim Aviator. I learned the Airbus from the videos. I'm glad. I'm always pleased to hear people have been able to enjoy the Airbus a little bit because of the videos. And you're streaming yourself. Fantastic. I hope you enjoy it. Yeah. Thanks very much for coming along and saying so. Cam _ A321. Hello. How are you doing? Cam is another regular Discord community contributor. I hope you're doing well, Cam. Thanks for coming along. Playmentic says, how stiff is the real Airbus side stick? The closest you'll get if you've ever tried the Thrustmaster HOTAS Warthog joystick. That's similar resistance. I think the real aircraft is slightly smoother than that, but that's a similar resistance in terms of how heavy it is. Yeah. The Neos, funnily enough, are ever so slightly lighter, in my opinion. Ever so slightly. Marina Halley, things are going well. I hope you're doing well. Thanks for coming along again to the stream. Sim Aviator, enjoyed the normal or direct law? I'm glad you enjoyed them. Yeah, I was just talking about those earlier, actually. I quite like doing those videos. It's fun to sort of delve into what makes an Airbus an Airbus. Definitely. Right, let's bring up a ground chart. No, not that one. Airport 47. 47 airport pages. I'm assuming the construction works aren't modelled in X-Plane, so actually we've already got that one, haven't we? So let's clear that one. Taxi charts. We want a normal parking stands east, maybe. Okay, that's our best bet. So we're arriving on 25 left. I'm thinking we're going to vacate. Well, first high speed, really. It's a 4-kilometre runway, so landing performance is good. Let's go flat full, low water brake to vacate at R13. And then maybe have to go back on ourselves, or maybe off here, and then wait here to cross, and then up into the terminal. That's a possibility. You have to be careful briefing taxis in real life. You just need to have an idea of the issues. So the issues for this one are, well, if we land and vacate on the high speed, I want to be careful of other aircraft that may have vacated or may be coming backwards along these taxiways. I want to be careful of crossing the runway, so I don't want to roll back onto the runway by accident. And we may have to cross another runway. All reasons to be very careful. It's perfectly possible as well. We might cross this runway, go back in through Mike, and back up out here. Because you can't predict the exact routing ever. There could be planes in the wrong place, all sorts of things. Kristen says, you'll most likely get a right turn on Mike and hold short 25 Charlie. That'd be off here, right turn, hold short 25 centre. Yeah, cool. That would make sense. And then back up into the terminal. Goodness knows where they'll park us. I know there are some parking down here, but I think this is mostly cargo. Alan Armour says, how does the 321 compare to the 320 NEO in Microsoft Flight Simulator in terms of accuracy? Yeah, this is much more accurate. Whether it's worth it or not for you, because you've got to pay for this Airbus and you've got to pay for X-Plane, is definitely a different question, especially as the A320 NEO is improving. But this is definitely the more accurate model at the moment. And I suspect, you know, that this is a professional team that made this one. So I suspect it will continue to be so for a fair while yet. But you know, the improvements in Microsoft might make it that one is perfectly acceptable. Sarah Potts says, have you seen the Thrustmaster TCA Airbus products? Do you think they're realistic? I've seen them. I know the joystick uses the is it the 16,000, something like that? But it's no, it doesn't. It looks fun. It looks more similar to an Airbus joystick. It's got the right colours, so it's got that grey blue, which is quite fun, I think. It doesn't. I don't think it will feel like an Airbus side stick, mainly because the weight won't be behind it. Because, as we said, this is quite heavy. But it's a good bit of fun. It's got the button on it, so yeah. But in terms of realistic, I don't know. I haven't seen one for real either. That's the other problem I've got. So I can't really comment. I've said many times, I like the idea of the thrust levers though, because if they actually click into the detents, that would be really good for using them for Airbus Flight Simulator, because that's something I don't think anything has at the moment, and it's a constant nuisance for me with my current joystick. So yeah, that would be a really great feature if you can set it so that the thrust levers actually align with the climb detent, flex detent, and toga. That would be amazing. Yeah, that would be really good. Jamie, I don't know if they're adding holding for the NEO in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. Wouldn't surprise me, but I don't know if it's on their list yet. I don't think the tablet is the EFB electronic flight bag, this iPad here. I don't know if this is going to be available in Microsoft Flight Simulator. I heard someone left a comment suggesting they were working on it. And again, it wouldn't surprise me that they seem to be working on everything. Dara says, what features do you miss in the real plane most? Do you miss most in the ToLiss? Well, one of them was the descent arrows, which we're going to see as we descend, which they've added in this version 1.1, where it now will show me where I'm leveling off. So I really liked that. Let's go to constraints actually. Being added, because it's used all the time. It's one of those things that's just constantly feeding into your decision making when you're flying the real aircraft. So it's great to see that added in. Oh, there you go. They've already made the EFB, says Harsh. Thanks. Someone left a comment suggesting that. On my YouTube videos, by the way, guys, if anyone leaves a comment and I don't answer or anything like that, I do apologise. I do read, I think I read all of them, but I sometimes miss the chance to reply, because if I don't comment straight away or reply straight away, like I just see it but I'm busy doing something else, then it usually gets disappeared under a list. So I try and go back and answer comments, but I can't keep up quite with the number I get at the moment. Richard V says the detents are there on the throttle and lined up with the positions on the ToLiss with only minimal setup. That's amazing. So Richard, do you have it? I look forward to getting any reviews from people who now have that thrust lever set up. But yeah, that's good to know. Thanks, Richard. Smooth flying. Good to see you, Smooth flying, if I didn't say hello already. They say, how much different is it flying the A319 versus the A321? So right now in the cruise, almost not at all. Slightly different speeds. You might descent flight level 230 level Tobod, Manta 232. Now that's very, in German airspace you often get descended like this. So here we go. Level by Tobot 230. I'm going to start off at vertical speed 500. Now it used to be that I wouldn't get my little level off arrow, but I've got 40 miles to Tobot. That's 10. Oh, that's 12,000 feet. So I need about 40 miles to do it. So actually I probably need an open descent from now to make that. I'll need at least 3 degrees. So I'm going to go thrust idle open descent. Yeah, there we go. And now I get my little arrow showing me. So my 500 wasn't even going to get me descended in time. That's quite a large descent to need. So you can see how useful this blue arrow is. Alternatively, I could put it in as a restriction, Tobot. But got to be careful, because this wants me to be at Tobot at flight level 163. If I stick in 250 instead of just below 250, then it will actually change the entire subsequent routing. So I'll just do it like this. No, says he thinks you're in a okay, yeah. Yeah, they that's quite a dive. It's yeah, it's alright. Sometimes air traffic control gives you clearances like that. In Germany it's quite common to get told descend to a flight level with a vertical speed greater than 2,000 feet per minute or something like that. Sometimes you have to say, sorry, I can't do it. KRCR says, good evening, looking forward to the new joystick and throttles. Hopefully you can do flex takeoff with the descents work. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I have not done a single takeoff in X-Plane or Microsoft Flight Simulator where I haven't missed the gate, put it forward a bit, put it back a bit. So it'd be really great to have that, because in the real aircraft you don't have to look in at all. You feel the detent. They're very solid. Alan Story is also getting the Thrustmaster throttle quadrants tomorrow. Bought for you for a birthday present. Happy birthday, Alan. I hope you enjoy them. Yeah, let us know. Let us know on the Discord as well. Yeah, it's a definitely an exciting idea. I've never seen it done before. So yeah, very good, because it's such a unique Airbus thing. This, I don't know of any other aircraft that does this, where you leave them at this gate for the whole flight. So yeah, it's definitely part of the identity of the aircraft, put it that way. Whereas the joystick, joystick's a joystick, and the side stick is nice, but joysticks all over work like joysticks. But certainly the fun of the new one is that it definitely does look the part, the right colours and everything, and having the red button on the right side. Because you can swap it around if you want to fly from the left-hand seat to the right seat.
Dorpat 29er Sierra, stop climb flight level 390. Stop climb flight level 390, Dorpat 29er Sierra. For information, we plan to change towards flight level after waypoint rapport. Okay, climb flight level 400 then, thank you. Very clear, climb flight level 400, Dorpat 29er Sierra, thanks.
Control, good evening, Alpine 2723, flight level 360, I have a request for you.
Alpine 2723, radar contact, hold your request 1 second. Manta A321, contact Langen radar 127725, good day. That was unreadable.
127725, Manta 232, goodbye.
Thanks, bye. Alpine 272,
right.
go ahead.
Brussels Control, Alpine 273, request to step away from flight deck until waypoint Sorrel, Sierra Oscar, Romeo Alpha Lima.
There we go. Yeah, there's always seems to be controllers around this part of the world. So there we go, we're making our level off now at Tobop.
Colonia 71, climbing Alpha, descent flight level 1.
Working out quite well. That arrow's just so convenient, isn't it? Look at that, it's dead easy. Savage Haters, I use the Thrustmaster HOTAS 4, which is designed for PC and the PlayStation, but the joystick's fine. It's got lots of HOTAS buttons to control, which is nice for flaps and the pedal disconnect, things like that, so I like that. It's got all the axes, including a little thrust lever. My only issue is the thrust lever is very light, so it's hard to get it to stay in place, and I often end up, it often slams into toga or the wrong detent. I also noticed the joystick creaks a lot, and I don't know why it does that. I don't know if that's just my one, but it often appears in my recordings in the background. Speed out star. Control Manta 232, leveling flight level 230 Tobop.
Simwings 23, Manta 232, Lemon radar identified, good evening. Clear to your code 25 November transition, descent to range flight level 110 to arm up.
Clear for the Anoku 25 November transition, and could you say again the cleared flight level, please?
Flight level 110.
Flight level 110 by Rama Manta 232. Right. Flight level 110. Anoku 25 November transition. And this is where...
Colonia 71, Alpha, just say your inbound waypoint again.
Let's do 5 left.
Kilo Romeo Hotel.
Let's see what arrivals we have. 25. Now this is going to be awkward. I've got 25 Sierra. Sorry, from Manta 232. I've got the Anoku 25 Sierra transition. Can you confirm which arrival you'd like me to fly?
The November transition, please.
Okay, looking for Anoku 25 November. Oh, right. What does he mean? Swap.
Lufthansa 9801, contact Brussels Control 131 decimal. Bye-bye. Brussels
An OQ.
9801,
5 November.
London radar, good evening. Lufthansa
Alright.
965, passing flight
This is going to be fun.
287, descending flight level 230.
How embarrassing.
Lufthansa 965, London radar identified. Good evening.
I knew this would happen with Frankfurt.
Transition.
25 November. 2 Bravo. 25 Sierra.
Again, flight level, please.
Okay, 25 November. Here we go. Right, how do we get this to work then? Right, I know why. This is going to be for the other runway. This is for 25 right. I've had this happen at Frankfurt before. So we're expecting the ILS 25 left. I'm going to check that with him in a minute. But we won't be able to get the arrival unless we insert 25 right.
Lufthansa 185, London radar identified. Climb flight level 300. Climb level 300.
Let's set up 25 right and be ready for that anyway. Because it makes more sense. We're coming in from the north. And OQ 25 November. There we go. Right. And this is yeah, mildly expected. And we're going to come in via not CHA, not MTR. We're effectively just going to come straight in and round. So I'm not going to do either of those. Let's insert that. There we go. So that seems like a more reasonable transition. I just wonder if he's going to break us off for the other side. Right, that's activated the approach phase early. Well, we don't want to do that. So let's select the speed. Keep 300 knots. Right, sorry I missed the chat there a bit. Just trying to work out what air traffic wants from us. I'm going to try and grab the which arrival we expect in a minute. Control for Manta 232. Which runway can we expect to land on today?
I don't know, it's up to approach. Probably 25. Well, actually, I don't know. Maybe 25 right.
Copy, thanks, Manta 232. Right, there you go. This is great. This is exactly what I expect. Cool, that's fine. We're ready for the right. Oh, excuse me. We've got the transition to the north. If we land on the right, let's bring up the chart for the ILS 25 right. Let's have it ready. Not like that. Back. Approach. Let's do the 25 right. Here we go. What's different here then? That's now what we've got in the box.
Make sure to reach flight level 110 to Ramon.
We'll go Manta 232. Oh yeah, he's caught me there. He's caught me there. Let's start down. 110. Let's get the speed up. And get the speed brakes out. Thrust out open descent. Out blue. 110. He wants us by Ramob. Let's see if we can do it. Luckily, in the 321, we actually get full speed brake available to us. Any speed constraints that we need to be particularly concerned about at this point? Nothing in particular. That's good. Yeah, I should have put that 110 in straight away. Down we go. Wind the speed up. We won't be far off. But yeah, we get full speed brake. A320s, you can only use half the speed brake unless you disconnect the autopilot. Right, there we go. So there's the ILS on the left. Oh, look at these charts. Look at all these charts. How are you supposed to do this with paper charts when you have this many options? 5,000 feet platform, still a 3-degree ILS, 553 minimum to go in. Platform landing, weather's the same, and for the go-around altitude, we shall put in straight ahead, right turn, 140, 5,000 feet. There we go. Right, let's see how this is doing. Yeah, we're just about going to make it to Ramob. Tremor DJ says, would ATC just say, well, I don't know, maybe 25 right? To be honest, in some airports like this, yeah, they might. Because they'll expect the approach controller to assign the runways. Paris Charles de Gaulle would be another one where you might have to ask and then find out quite late. 120.8, Manta 232, goodbye. Look at this, 1208. Love it, this is why we do this on LATSIM. Get the unknown in there. Right, that's going to be absolutely fine. Let's start winding that speed brake in. Langen, good evening. Manta 232 descending flight level 110 to be level by Ramob.
Manta 232, long radar identified, check in for Bravo, expect ILS 25 left.
Expect ILS 25 left, Manta 232. Yeah, so this is the problem then. How are we supposed to do that? We will make it work. 25 left, so we can't select that with that arrival from the north.
Manta 232, confirm, expect ILS 25 left, please.
Affirm, expecting ILS 25 left, Manta 232.
046 Golf, contact Langen 127.
Anyway, we made the 110 by Ramob, no problem. Let's put that back to sort of 250 or we'll probably get in trouble. A lot of arrivals at busy airports like this expect sort of 250 knots, although there doesn't seem to be an actual speed constraint.
Oscar Cargo A340, long radar identified, climb flight level 110.
We're going to go right over Henning's house. There you go, Henning. I hope you enjoy it. I'm not sure at which point you'll see it, but there we go. So yeah, so it's currently set up for 25 right. So what I can do, let's go secondary, copy the active, and now in the secondary arrival, let's put ILS 25 left. That's the point of it, I suppose. I don't want anything else. And what I can do is, yeah, leave it as there. It's got Charlie Hotel Alpha, and then it's got the ILS for 25 left. And it's got the secondary performance in.
4,000 feet, 1014.
Minima for the secondary.
Manta 232, descend flight level 80.
Descend flight level 80, Manta 232. 80, is there some restriction I should make for that? Probably vertical speed. Let's do 800, just not to annoy them. I feel like we're on thin ice already. Yeah, right, so if I can keep clicking these charts, I'll eventually find my ILS for 25 left. Here it is, 562. Secondary approach, 562. So that's what we originally briefed anyway. And now all I'm going to do is keep flying this arrival, and then when he vectors us for the ILS onto 25 left, we'll simply activate the secondary. Pavel Kalugan, hello, thanks for joining us. Sim Aviator, does the real EFB have moving maps like navigation? Depends. Some do, some don't. Depends what your airline has. Yeah. So I quite like this. And I think some do have that, but others don't. So it does depend on the setup. 10,000 feet then. Let's get those landing lights on, especially in Germany. You can have lots of VFR traffic. Let's put the seatbelt signs on because I'll forget that later. So cabin can start getting ready, and we'll bring up the LS push buttons. There we go. Looking in here as well, check the nav accuracy is high. It is. And let's put EDDF. Should have done this already. 25 left in there. So we've done the flight plan, done the RadNav. It does tune better now. So India Foxtrot November Whiskey is already tuned. Should be for the wrong runway, but there it is. And then Sierra Whiskey will tune when we swap over. Got our progress page. Done the performance of both of them. Arriving with extra fuel, obviously. It reckons 100 extra, actually. Why does it think that? Secondary, I'm not going to fiddle with. We've already done it. Yeah, it's not quite sequenced up. Still got 5.3 tons of fuel, though, which is more than enough to do this. We are low down, though. I mean, we are 20 miles away. No, that's fine. Yeah, that's pretty reasonable. So you can see how busy it is, all the other TCAS traffic coming out of Germany. Or out of Frankfurt. Jamie Rojo says that they fly back to, and it's crazy to see some controllers on for 8 hours. Wow, goodness me. That's pretty hardcore. You says, when you were studying ATPL, do you have a favourite topic? General navigation is one of the hardest topics, but it has a good satisfaction when you get it right, and it does teach you a lot for your VFR and your IFR early days of flying. I quite liked aircraft systems, so that deals with how do the hydraulic systems work, how are the tyres constructed, all this sort of stuff about the technical side of what makes these airplanes work. So I'd probably say aircraft systems was one of my favourites. Also looked at things like engines and so on, power plant. That's quite interesting. Ellie, sorry, you had too many drinks, but the seatbelt signs will have to go on for now. I mean, I thought we'd land in 10 minutes, but obviously that's not going to quite happen here. But it won't be too far off. Yeah, it won't be too far off. It's probably about 20 minutes of landing, probably. The TCAS can give you an RA, but this is not in FS Labs, Alexander. So I don't know if FS Labs can do that. I guess it can, but I don't know what the P3D system is like for that. But I have had one in X-Plane, yeah, when I think it was Dougal got too close. Tom McVeigh says, could there be a failure where the flight mode annunciator shows something different from what the autopilot's commanding? Great point. We check these religiously. This is very important to check because this is telling us what the flight guidance and therefore the autopilot is trying to do. If you're not happy with it, then you turn it all off. Take it out. Get rid of it. If you don't think it's doing what you want and you can't make it do what you want, then you just get rid of it. I don't know. I can't think of one that would mean that this is telling you one thing and the airplane does another, as long as the autopilots are working okay. I can't think of one, but that doesn't mean it couldn't happen. I don't know. But typically these are very reliable. Massimo Cotticelli said, why are the arrow and wind direction on ND not congruent? It should be about right. So we're pointing sort of northeast, that's pointing, yeah, so this will be compared to us, so it's a tailwind for us, hence the arrow points from behind, not, so that should be from 270, it's not orientated from the north, it's orientated from us. So because I'm facing east, that shows up as a tailwind. If I was facing north, this would be showing a crosswind. So it gives me an immediate idea that I've got a 22 knot tailwind now, which will mean I have a nice headwind for the approach. Right, we're going to go right past the airport. Not that one. It's a bit small. Where is Frankfurt? There's the runway. There's 25 right, and we're going to land over there on 25 left. Excellent. Our passengers back here, bursting for the toilet. Henning says, approximately when your flight path crosses the second slash line on the ND. Okay, I'll try and remember to look out. If this was my actual flight simulator, presumably we would see a house. Jamie Roheld says, isn't NDA minimum descent height? No, it's minimum descent altitude. It's an altitude for that one. DH is, you're correct, is decision height. Genuine MP5, they are referring to the same thing usually. So in this case, bring up the ILS. The minima here, that is a decision altitude, 562. The height, which is the height above the actual ground, is 200 feet. But it's 562 feet above sea level, remember?
Manta A322, descend 4,000 feet, QNH 1014.
Send 4,000 feet, QNH 1014, Manta 232. Right, let's not forget that this time. 4,000 feet. Don't want to go down too fast, we've got a lot of room. And we're going to set the QNH of 1014. I hope my simulator updated. Yeah, so the height is different. So that now we're on QNH 1014, which we've got on both sides. We've got altitude 4,000. Right heading 080, Manta 232. Here we go then, heading 080. That's based above sea level now. I'm 7,800 feet above sea level, but because the airport is almost 400 feet above the ground, I'm only 7,400 feet above the actual runway. So my height is 7,400, 7,300 now. Yeah, that's a rough explanation of it. Right, we must be approaching your house to Henning. Now, I also need to be aware that he could cut us in now. So we're past the airport. Oh dear. They should have... By now we should know which runway we're expecting. Manta 232. Which runway are we landing on today, please?
Ah, sorry, I thought I already told you. You can expect ILS-25 left.
ILS-25 left, sorry. Thank you, Manta 232. Ah, well, he did say expect that. But they normally... yeah, I suppose expect. Yeah, just thinking about what phrases they tend to use. Right, let's make our life easy then. Let's slow that down. Now we've taken off the star. Let's activate the secondary. Let's hope this works. We're on a heading. Activate secondary. ILS-25 left is now in the box, which is great. And let's extend it. Oh, I don't want to cut out too many points, actually. Let's leave it just in case he gives us a direct to one of those waypoints, because it looks like he's going to cut us across the arrival. In terms of altitude or height compared to the airfield, 9 miles, 6. Plus we've got about 5 miles across. Yeah, so time to get down, start slowing down. Sorry guys if I miss any of the questions in the chat now. I'll be doing my best. Right, let's go. Thrust slide open descent. Just to be ready. I've got an approach checkers here. So we've done our briefing. We've talked about the ILS-25 left. ECAM status is still looking good. Seatbelts are on. We're on the QNH of 1014. We've set our MDA 562. Engine mode select is going to be left at norm.
Manta 232, turn right heading 210, cleared ILS-25 left.
Riding 210, cleared ILS-25 left. Manta 232. Right, there we go then. Very slick vectoring when they do that. One heading all the way around and cleared for the approach. 5. We're a little bit high and we're a little bit fast. So let's do that. We're about on profile there. I'm not going to arm the approach until I'm pointing back in towards the airport. I also need to sequence it before I arm the approach. Otherwise it won't quite work. Lead key, and then let's put in... I should really put in the reciprocal. Which in this case, it's going to be 0. Oh my goodness me. Where's the airport chart? 068. Let's do that and insert. Let's pull the heading. Make sure we get 210. Let's get rid of the speed brakes. Yes, we are adjusting. Right, now we're pointing in. We've got it identified. India Foxtrot Sierra Whiskey. I presume that's for south. Let's arm the approach and the second order pilots. And let's start getting some flaps out. Get rid of that. Flaps to 1. Because we are quite heavy, so I don't want to be coming down the ILS clean, that's for sure. So even though we've leveled off, we are still keeping the engines pretty close to idle. Sometimes it's quicker to level off to slow down if you need to. Actually, that was probably too much though. We're pretty good for energy now. Flaps to 2. Here comes a glide slope. Glide slope star. Let's set that going altitude to 5,000. Right, here we go then. 12 miles out, 4,000 feet. Yeah, that's about right. Maybe a little bit low, but we're not quite on the glide slope yet. Here we go. This is. Let me check out the 25 left now. They've changed runway on us so many times. Excellent. Now I wonder. I hope my X-plane has updated the QNH properly, because that would explain slight altitude differences. 10 miles should be 35.40.
turn right heading 080, speed 220 knots.
35.40, 10 miles. Okay, not too far off. Flap 2, 160 knots. That's pretty good. Driving with 5 tons of fuel. Yeah, there you go. Check we got the rest of the lights on. So next part is to configure for the gear and the flaps.
Correction, Manta 232, contact Frankfurt Tower 119.9, goodbye.
119.9, Manta 232. Thank you, goodbye. 119.9. Ah, come on. There we go. 1199. Right, 8 miles. Do we need to configure? No, not yet. Tower, Manta 232 ILS 25 left, 8 miles.
Manta 232, Frankfurt Tower, hello. Wind 180 degrees, 6 knots, runway 25 left, cleared to land.
Cleared land, 25 left, Manta 232. There we go, cleared land.
Lufthansa 996, Frankfurt Tower.
Radio altimeters are live, about 300 feet above 2,500, so that makes sense for the 300 foot elevation. And that's what we can do, and this is something, you know, you'll hear people do it in real life. They'll check where they want us to vacate, because I don't know where he's going to park us. And for Manta 232, where would you like us to vacate?
I would appreciate you to vacate to the right then.
To the right. Thank you, Manta 232. There we go. So, yeah, we'll take Mike 21 then. Which I don't know why I was talking about coming left and then crossing again. That's ridiculous. Yeah, I was talking about that earlier, but yeah. Get out. Arm those. Flaps to 3.
Lufthansa 996, Frankfurt Tower.
Make sure the cabin's getting ready. Flaps to full. We've armed those. And let's get the last of the lights on. Okay, we're clear to land. I've got my little overfly marker to remind me of that. Landing checklist then. Cabin is secured for landing. Water thrust is in speed mode. Go around altitude. 5,000 feet is set. Eco memo is landing no blue. Here we go then. And we're going to vacate at some point to the right with our low auto brake. I'm still struggling to get the reverse thrust to work properly in X-plane, so I do apologise. I may not manage that. We'll just pretend that they're not. You can see the wind changing, the ground speed mini increasing, the approach speed with it. I really like that. That is what the real aircraft does. Yeah, very good. It does it less in the NEOs. It's slightly different formula. But yeah. So it does sort out some of the ripples in the air for you, especially when it's changes in headwind. Okay, there's 1,000 feet. We are stable, we're visual, we can land.
Lufthansa 8 Romeo Mike, taxi to holding point runway 18 via Lima.
Right. You see that wind? Yeah, shuffling the airplane around. Let's take the autopilot off. Yeah, they've changed some of those sounds. They were already very good, but the sounds are really excellent now. Cat 1, which makes sense. Now we're not going to autopilot in. You can see that V approach should be about 5 knots above the little yellow line beneath it. The speed tape, so yeah, it's working out. Ah, cars on the road. I've had to turn that off in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Oh, there's a bit of a wind kicking in those around. Let's not get caught high. So say, try not to overreact at this point. The X-plane model of the glide slope seems to make it very sensitive at this point. Just keep driving it towards the centre of the touchdown zone. 2 whites, 2 reds.
100.
Yeah, I'm not sure. That's right.
50, 40, 30, 20, retard.
Bit of a sloped runway here. Let's try to get it in the touchdown zone. There it is. Right. I'm sure that should be reverse. No, not working. Anyway, we've got no reverses this time, but decel is working anyway, and the ground spoilers are there. That's good. Right, we're going to take a high speed off to the right. What am I doing wrong with the reverse? So we'll not do that one because we're still doing 70 knots. Let's take... Is that going to be a suitable one for us? Should effectively be Mike 21. Brakes released. Yeah, well, let's take this right. Mike 23 is the next one, so this must be 21. Excellent. Here we are then. Speed 20 knots, perfectly reasonable. Forward idle before we get over. You want to get the engines out of reverse typically before you cross into the taxiway area because there could be more grit and gravel and things like that. Not an absolute rule, but that's quite typical. When you do select them from reverse to forward idle, you do get a slight boost in energy. You do notice it. So how did that touchdown work out? I didn't see it. Was it all right? It felt okay from where we were. Right.
Manta 232, welcome to Frankfurt. Taxi straight ahead on Mike 2 28, hold short of runway 25 center.
Straight ahead. Straight ahead, Mike 28, hold short 25, center, Manta 232. Right. Mike 28, which is going to be here, and that's out there, hold short 25 center, very important. So I'm going to actually leave my lights on for now.
Disregard.
I'm not going to do anything. I don't need to bother with the flaps or anything like that. I need to get myself so I don't mess up this part. So you just focus in on what you're doing on the ground now, really.
No. 6, say again, please.
Because it's too easy to get it wrong on the ground.
Disregard.
And you get it wrong, it goes wrong very quickly. Right, this is the Cat 2 3 points. We want the Cat 1 point, Mike 28. I wonder if there's someone, has he got traffic on this runway? It might be someone landing, that'd be fun.
Contact line radar 120.
Bring it to a stop, set the parking brake. There you go. Someone taking off. Well, while we wait, we can do a few things. Let's disarm those. Let's bring the flaps to 0. Let's bring the transponder to transponder. Turn the radar off. And let's get the APU up and running. And then we can enjoy our friends taking off. This is why VATSIM's so much fun. Oh, I'm seeing the word batter. Always good. 193. Okay, yeah. Seems fine. Bit of a strange runway slope at the end there. I wasn't quite expecting that one. There they go. Excellent. And you can hear our APU spooling up.
Tower, good evening, Delta Echo Bravo Bravo Romeo, holding short of Romeo. Delta Bravo, Delta Echo Bravo Bravo Romeo, Frankfurt Tower, hello, standby. Lufthansa 965, wind 180 degrees 6 knots, runway 25 left, clear to land. Clear to land, Lufthansa 965. Lufthansa 8, Romeo Mike, contact Langen radar on 120.8, bye-bye.
Just looking through the chat for any questions. James says, when do you activate the approach phase?
Lufthansa 9996, contact Langen
Basically,
radar
some
on
point,
120.8,
probably
bye-bye.
by base leg, certainly. So as you're turning to intercept the ILS, you definitely want it done by then. Usually sometime shortly after 10,000 feet. It's quite typical. Or in this case, the computer did it on its own. Yeah, that sim is good.
Tower Delta 213 at Charlie 163.
Okay, I'm seeing a few complaints about the slow mode, so I'll take that on board. Thanks.
Last station calling.
Perhaps there's too long in between the message allowed.
Roger, they told me to call you. Okay, I'll call back then.
There's somebody landing, and we're going to see that. Am I supposed to contact someone else? I hope not. I did hear this. This person is controlling the takeoff, so they must be tower. So we'll just wait patiently. There we go. There's someone, a colleague behind us, I think. That was the 965 all the way from Edinburgh with us. Wonder what we are waiting for.
Manta 232, cross runway 25 center. On the other side, hold short of Lima, contact apron 121.85.
Cross runway 25 center, hold short of Lima, 121.85, Manta 232.
Delta Echo Bravo Bravo
Right.
Romeo, taxi to
Hold short Lima, that's that taxiway up there. So it's clear over there, it's clear over there. We've got our lights on, especially our strobes, the most important one. Brake released. And we don't want to hang around too long. There's no trucks or anything around us out here because we're out in the sort of aircraft maneuvering zone. So using a bit of N1 won't be too much of an issue. I'm going to stay with the tower frequency because I'm still in their sort of domain. And I'll just get ready with 121.85 for the ground controller. But you don't want to change over too early. Typically they'll say on the other side, change frequency, that sort of thing. So let's get ourselves over this stop bar. Then we've vacated the runway.
Bravo Bravo Romeo, confirm you want to fly VFR.
And then we're going to hold short of Lima, which is this next taxiway.
Awesome, Delta Bravo Romeo, leave the control zone.
Okay, swap frequency. Bring it to a stop. Ground good evening, Manta 232, holding short Lima. Get those lights off now.
Simwings 232, Frankfurt apron, good evening, turn right on Lima, hold short November 8.
Right on Lima, hold short November 8, Manta 232. Right on Lima, first right here, November 8.
Charlie, it's
H is there.
quite wet actually. What I
Let's.
could do is 2x6
There we go. Lima,
something like that.
November 8. Be on the left. Quite useful in explaining this chart though, because it does draw us on it. So
Lufthansa 7 Kilo Charlie, let me check that. Call you back.
is our colleague behind us yet? There we are. Yeah.
KLM 805 April.
Right. Taking Lima to short November 8. I have no idea where we're parking here.
KLM 805.
Perfect, KLM 805, start approved, cleared Hamburg, Maroon 6 Mike departure, flight plan.
That's probably a little bit
Climb level
fast.
70, squawk 1000.
This is going to be one of my trademark 30-minute taxi-ins at this rate. I've had a lot of long taxis on the channel, so I do apologise for that. And I apologise I'm not getting around into the chat. It's just, yeah, it's pretty busy.
Flight level 70, KLM 805.
There's November 11. Those of you with questions, I do apologise if I've missed them.
Manta 232, join November 8, November, stand Victor 162.
November 8, November Victor 162, Manta 232, thanks. Right,
Is my readback correct, KLM 805?
November 8, November 8. Victor 162.
KLM 805, squawk 1000.
Hold on, what am I doing wrong here? Oh, November 8, November,
I
of
was
course.
wondering whether my readback was correct.
Victor 162, oh my goodness.
Sorry, KLM 805, yes, your readback was correct.
Okay, roger that.
Where,
KLM 805. Thank you.
where is Victor 162?
Frankfurt 1, German cargo, Lala 11, request taxi.
German cargo 911, join.
What am I missing?
November, and contact tower 119.9, bye-bye.
Okay, join left November and contact tower Lala 119 and Lala 119
Can't see that stand.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Let's find
Ciao.
November 8. Manta 232, can we confirm our parking gate, please?
Lima, request taxi.
Blocked.
Oh, let them do taxi. We can get to November 8 for now. Alexander Beck, I'm going to park up,
Good evening, Lufthansa
turn off the engines,
965,
and
request taxi.
then we'll run through the replays of the landing, as is traditional.
Lufthansa 965, April,
Just got to get ourselves parked
for you.
first. Maximum speed 30 knots in a straight line, typically 20 knots in sort of busier aprons. 15 knots for big turns, 10 knots for tight turns would be normal, or 90-degree turns. If it's wet, you have to reduce all of those. Just do what's sensible.
Lufthansa 980, stand by, there's currently inbound traffic.
Roger, standing by 980.
Lufthansa 945.
Right. I'm going to do November 8 until November. I'm seeing a few comments about, yeah, I need to get Airport Environment HD. I did have a go at fiddling with scenery, but I haven't ever been successful, so that is on the list. Okay, so here we go then, November 8, and then we're going to left, right into November. Manta 232, can we confirm our parking stand, please? There doesn't seem to be much audio of the engines in the flight deck, although I suppose in the 321 it is quiet on the flight deck compared to the 319s.
Ground Delta 213 on November, ready taxi.
Now I had Victor 162. Did anyone else hear anything different? So right here on November.
Ready for the pushback, 805.
Actually, let's stop here and make sure we know what we're doing, because he's parked everyone else over there. What have I missed? November up here. There's no 162 anything. There's no 132. East
Frankfurt
Buckley
Ground Delta
charts.
213, how do you read?
Let's have a look.
Delta 213, read to 5.
Yeah, you've had several requests. We're not hearing you. Repeat back. We're ready to taxi around November.
Parking stands east.
Delta 213,
Yeah,
taxi to boarding
that's
point
what we had.
25 Center, November 1, Lima 1.
November 1, Lima 1, Delta 213.
Manta 232, can we please confirm our parking stand? Thorsten Salter, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for coming along.
Blocked.
Manta 232, can you confirm our parking stand, please?
Manta 232, yes, it's Victor 162. It's on your left-hand side by November.
Okay, Victor 162, thank you.
November 7, is that right?
Maybe it's on the west charts. What a mystery. Parking stands west. Have I made my life really difficult here? He said November 8. Oh, is it back on November?
Start KLM 805.
Oh dear, this is very embarrassing. Oh, it was back on November 162.
KLM 805.
Here we go then.
Number 2.
We can do that. Brakes released. Let's let it rolling forward slightly. Good job we have both engines still. It always amazes me how manoeuvrable these aircraft are. There we go. Look at that. Absolutely amazing how tight they'll turn. Not to say you'd want to be in that situation in reality, but there we go. 162. All of that, and we were right next to it the whole time. I'm glad you guys were lost as well, because I certainly that was taking all of my capacity there, trying to work out where he wanted us. I mean, the stand, I knew the stand must exist. He wouldn't be telling me otherwise, but still. Right, here we go. Arriving at the stands. It's all clear. Let's get the lights off. AP is available. Check the accumulator. We have pressure, so even if we lose the engines, we can use the brake pressure to stop the aircraft. Don't need that anymore. 158, 159. 160. Yeah, I hadn't even considered that it would be a left turn on November. 162. Got some stairs ready for us. Something you always look for. Slightly back on ourselves. All clear. Around we go. Oversteering slightly. 2 knots. Yeah, you don't want to be going fast at all for this sort of thing. And let's get... want to get the main wheels over that centre line, so I'm going to do that again and then bring the nose round, and that should put us something close. Get the yellow line now in between the screens. There we go. Should we just make a guess of it today? Just see how well we do or don't do. A bit more, I think. I'm going to hope it's there. Let's have a look. Oh, still a bit short. There we go. Not bad. Right, AP is available. Let's get rid of those engines. And let's disconnect from that sim. That was all very good. So there we go, guys. Thank you very much for joining me on this flight today to Frankfurt. I hope it's been fun for you. Sorry if I missed a bit in the chat at the end there. Just trying to find my way around the ground in Frankfurt. But it's been a pleasure to do this with you guys. Thanks very much for coming along. Simcheck A320, good evening. I think Simcheck a streamer or another pilot as well on Flight Sim, so thanks for coming along, Simcheck. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Pilot Peely. Yeah, only caught the taxi, but the taxi was a bit of a show anyway. There we go. So yeah, always stop and ask if you're stuck on the taxi. Always the easiest way to do it, because once you go wrong, it's a lot of paperwork, and you could, dent something or go somewhere you shouldn't go. Right, now it's time for, you guessed it, how long was that taxi? That's ludicrous, yeah. Let's get us back in the air. We'll start off with the usual external runway, and there's the other landing. Yeah, you can see the slopes in this runway. I wasn't quite expecting there to be quite as many as that. Always got to have an excuse as a pilot, and we always have excuses for the landings ready to go. No worries, smooth flying. I'm glad you enjoyed it. And Alexander, thanks. Andy H1302. Yeah, it's, no problem. There we go. So, yeah, seems to work out all right. Relatively near the end of the touchdown zone. Oh no, still had a couple of markers actually. No reverses, as you can see, which does have a fair impact compared to idle reverse. Yeah, bit of fun. I think that worked out all right. I was talking over the first one. Let's have another look. You can see me lowering the nose slightly just at the end there to try and make sure it does come in the touchdown zone. always the way. No worries, Mr. Espresso. Thank you for your contributions, and I must thank everyone who's everyone for joining today. Of course, thank you for chatting and viewing, and also thank you to everyone who's donated to the stream. I really appreciate it. It's very, very generous of you guys. Right, let's jump into which wing view should we have? Should we have this one? This always seems like quite a good one. Right. I'm going to leave it there then for the night. So thank you all very much for joining in today. If I haven't got around to your questions, I do apologize. I'll be doing other streams and more tutorials to come in the near future. So I will try and get around to them then as well. I'm starting to do these longer flights so that I have a bit of time in the cruise to answer some questions now. Thanks to there being a few more people viewing. But yeah, it's brilliant. Thank you very much for joining us today. I hope you have a very pleasant evening. Thank you again to the contributors, the subscribers, the moderators. There's just too many of you to name, and I wouldn't want to miss anyone out. But thank you all for coming along today. We'll see you again in another video soon. Stay safe. Bye-bye.
Thank you.